Happy Tuesday. Good evening. It is game week, and welcome to the final whistle. And no, don't adjust your sets. I mean, we have some royalty on here tonight, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the man you see below me. We're going to get to him real quick. We're going to get through the common Avengers that are already on here. Man, where is Dan tonight? I meant to ask that before. I should ask that before we got on the show. But Dan, where you at, man? Come on show if you ain't at the Waffle House. But we got the guys here. We got the main man, the enforcer, who got our guest tonight. That's reaching out. The last time they were on air, they got a little fired up. Maybe we can get fired up tonight. Lou, how are you doing this game week, sir?
You know what? It's game week. Sometimes I get overly excited, so I brought some backup in tonight. This guy down here to my right or left, whichever direction it is, he knows football. In actual football, and he's not scared to tell it how it is. That's why he's here, because on this network we value freedom of speech no matter what they will be. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you tonight, we ain't pulling absolutely no punches. It's going to be the absolute truth. So y'all better strap in and let's go roll dadgum tide.
A man that's never scared to pull punches. As a matter of fact, he was so good at them in the chat, and maybe pulled too many in some of his other YouTube endeavors that he ended up with us degenerates. The man, the myth, the legend, Van. What is up, good sir?
Hey, man, I'm just glad I can be over here where I can be offensive. Finally, man, I'm just excited to talk with a legend today. You don't get to do this every day.
Did you talk to me last week?
Man, I ain't talking about you.
Oh, shit. Okay, my bad. All right, whatever. Dude, I'm drinking the man. I like this guy so much that I take his sponsors to heart. I had the Rainbow Sherbet Jumbo can today of rain, and I'm jacked up like a spider monkey. That shit will get you going. Like, that's it. I guess I'll intro him like that. Rain Body Fuel. I think he's got it tattooed. He's sponsored up like a NASCAR. This man knows how it's done. Look, he's about to go get his NASCAR jacket with all his sponsors. The one and only, dude, those things are fire. They're like cracking a can. They will get you going. The man, the myth, known around all these parts, the legend, nice. Tyler Siskey. How are you doing, good sir?
Doing good, brother. How we doing?
We good. It's game week, man. It's what we're here. It's what we get. It's our Christmas. Well, I had Christmas lights, but now you can't see them because I got the Denny dog, which is much more important. We'll discuss that later. But, man, we got a jam-packed show. We got Siskey with us. We're going to talk Florida State, man. Going down to Doak. Look, guys, if you're of my generation, 90s football, we didn't have 1,000 football games on a weekend. You only got to see the best teams, and a lot of times that was the Florida State Seminoles. So, growing up watching big games in Doak Campbell, I'm actually really excited about the opportunity that Alabama gets to go down. So we're going to do a little Florida State scouting report. We got a guy that knows a little bit about scouting reports, considering he did it for a damn living and still does it to this day. So we're going to talk a little Florida State. Then we're going to go into the elephant in the room regarding Alabama. That is Lou's baby. His subject, it is a hot one, and we're coming back to it. And then we're just going to have some Siskey time. We're going to talk a little ball. Like my man Siskey likes to say, we're going to talk a little ball. So, guys, let's get going. Hit that like and subscribe. Damn, Brandon Matter's calling me. I have to call that dude back. Only other, professional athlete I knew before I knew all you rock stars. Shit, that threw me way off. I ain't seen that dude call in a while. All right, guys, we're going to get going. It's game week. Title towel. Lou, am I hitting the
Go ahead and plug it.
Oh, crap. Give me 2 seconds, man. Talk for a second. I got to find that. Oh, there it is. Got you. Sorry, guys. I had to find it. There's a wave rising in the South, and it's not the ocean. It's the title towel, the ultimate symbol of Bama power, brought to you by WhitwillSports.com. Whether you're in Bryant Denny or repping from your living room, the title towel brings the heat. Crimson, bold, unapologetically Alabama. Join the wave, wave the power. Get your title today at WhitwillSports.com. I think that might have been the old one. If you tell them the promo code whistle. You'll receive 20% off your title towel. Better get it fast, guys. It's game time, and we're heading down to Tallahassee. With that said, hit that like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter X, where you're at, come on over to YouTube. Final whistle. We need a few more. We're about to be monetized. I might have to pull a Tyler Siskey. He had one of the most epic monetized moments in YouTube history. I think he pulled like an all-night telethon and just stayed on until you guys got enough subscribers to be monetized.
Oh.
Do you recommend that way of getting, the Saved by the Bell, AC Slater, stay on all night till you get it done move?
It worked. Yeah, it worked. I mean, yeah, it worked. I don't know. I was tired of looking at it until it wasn't monetized. So I said, let's just monetize it. So it didn't take long. It took about, 4 or 5 hours, but we got it figured out.
Well,
don't tempt me with a good time. Don't tempt me with a good time. We could do that starting Thursday. We'll go live. We'll go live till the damn game.
Yeah, I mean,
you had a little help. All right, guys, man, it's game week, and Siskey, I know you kind of bounce around. You and Neil get to talk about it all, but you've stepped back into Bama land, so we're talking Bama, Florida State tonight.
Yep.
If we've looked into that scouting report at all, it's dotted with transfer portal guys, and man, that is that's Russian roulette these days. You over there talk Ole Miss a lot. Lane Kiffin gets a lot of credit for building out of the portal and doing it the right way, but it has failed on him. There was the 8-5 year in the middle of the Jackson Dart run, and it is a game of Russian roulette. And you're kind of wondering after the year Florida State had last year, and you look how many transfers they got. Both defensive ends. They've got or a guy from Nebraska, the Tennessee kid, Jason. It's just a litany of them. So that's as much as I'm gonna tee it up. I'm gonna let you guys dive further into it. Lou, I'm gonna start it off, and like I said, we're gonna do it like baseball, man. I'm gonna be a leadoff hitter. We'll let you 2-hole, and then let Siskey hit it out of the park after my man Van fires everybody up.
All right, guys. So basically, Florida State, like Petty said, got a whole bunch of transfers in, 23 total, which is a lot compared to Alabama, who had a few, but 14 new transfers on offense, and I think this is pretty much where the transfers are probably going to have the biggest impact with the quarterback, Tommy Castellanos, or however you say that, from Boston College, Squirrel White from Tennessee, and then you got Deuce Robinson from USC.
He's a big kid.
And they got the transfer running back from Oklahoma, and Gavin, I don't know how to say his last name, so that dude from Oklahoma. So they got a lot of transfers on offense, including 2 offensive linemen. So it's kind of going to be interesting, especially listening to these guys talk about watching film on them. They went in an extensive and just watched pretty much individual film on each player because they haven't played together at Florida State, which I think is kind of interesting because I think they're going to have a little bit better of a background that they did that, because going that extensive, you see what people develop as far as habits, as far as situational happenings. And it's going to be interesting. But at the same time, they got 9 transfers on defense, and they should be impactful with they got a corner from Houston that was rated top 10 by Pro Football Focus. They got a couple defensive linemen in that were able to create pressure at their selective schools. I'm pretty sure each of them at least had 2 sacks. So they went to the transfer portal. They might not have scored big, but they definitely have some talent. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of these coaches utilize 23 new guys on their team. But as usual, we ain't worried. This is Bama.
Van, man, I look, Bama fans take a lot of heat, but one thing you can't take away from them, Bama fans are some of the more football savvy out there, and they know their opponents. I know you've been paying attention to what's going on at Florida State. From the fan side, what position, what is there a unit that kind of may worry you going into this game?
It's not so much a unit as much as the coaches that they've got now. I've got a lot of respect for Tony White, the defensive coordinator. Studied under Rocky Long, worked for him. He was a guru. That 3-3-5 stack can cause issues. Nothing that I don't think Grubb can't figure out quickly. They're going to be able to fly around they've got some good athletes at linebacker. They better. I'm curious to see how they gel with that many transfers in a single year. We've seen success stories and we've seen people fall on their face. Florida State last year, and whether that came in with just having a bunch of transfers or, if it was a mishap in the coaching, it's hard to say from my perspective. But and then you got Gus Malzahn on offense. Alabama fans, we're familiar with Gus. I mean, he give us some fits at his time at Auburn. I don't think there again that Womack is going to see anything he's not used to. I got a lot of trust in him, man. I don't know of a coordinator I would rather have as defensive coordinator right now than Womack. His dad was a legend in my book, fantastic defensive coordinator. Our guest today, real familiar with the family. Absolutely great coaches. So that's more what I'm looking at right now, because it's hard. You could go back and look at a lot of the transfers play last year. Some of them didn't get a whole lot of playing time due to injuries, due to other things. So I'm looking more who's teaching them right now and how they like to attack teams. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. And they don't have as many on defense. Like I said, mentioned the Jason Jinka kids. He's 6'6", 275 defensive end from Tennessee. I don't know much about him. I don't know what Siskey can maybe give a little more. But again, you hear kids like Elijah Herring starting linebacker. He's on his third school. He started Tennessee, then to Memphis. I'm kind of funny about the whole transfer thing. Transfer once the situation don't work out, man, you start getting on that third, fourth transfer. I'm starting to question, like, man, is it the man in the mirror more than it is the program's fault? But Siskey, man, I told you before the show, I was watching you and Neil earlier, and mainly for the bet. I got the bet stuff kind of piqued my interest and almost made me change my parlay. You were very high on Alabama. And like I said, I just asked Van, is there any units that kind of fear that Bama should fear? What gives you so much confidence that Bama's going to roll into this thing?
Well, a few things. When you look at Florida State, they got 6 starters coming back. Only one of those on offense, 5 on defense, obviously. And, they had to hit the portal again heavy. And, that's a good thing and a bad thing. I've said this for a while. It's Florida State, North Carolina, Kentucky are 3 teams I'm having a tough time roster-wise getting my kind of getting a pulse on without really watching them play. I think Norvell is a hell of a coach. Regardless of what the reports say, there were people in Alabama that think he's a good coach too. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless, there's a reason he got a raise 2 years ago too, right? So he's a hell of a coach. Gus Malzahn obviously is a hell of a coach, has done it for a long time in this league. Thomas Castellano is coming over from Boston College. I think he fits what Gus wants to do offensively, but on top of what Squirrel White can do, right? So we've seen him play in the league for a while, but there's just a lot of moving parts, and there's a reason all-star teams don't work all the time, right? And so it's about how they mesh together and how they're going to play as a team. Are they talented? Yeah, they'll have talented guys, but how well do they mesh and play together? That's kind of the mystery of the portal. And I think I think last year Florida State kind of saw the bad part of that. I think Lane has seen the bad part of that early in his tenure at Ole Miss. He's a big portal guy, and then kind of got it figured out a little bit and got more team guys in last year, and had enough guys. The trick, I think, to the portal is not about how many you take. You got to have the right guys and the right culture inside your program to kind of, hey, let those guys. This is how I know how you've done it in the past. This is how we do things here. And you can't have, like Coach Saban always said, we can't have a team full of independent contractors, right? So you got to have a team there. Now, from a schematic standpoint and just game plan stuff, I hope I'm not talking over everybody's head right here, but I think in that defense, I'm very familiar with that defense. I've gone against it, Rocky Long and those guys a few times. I think you're going to see from an Alabama perspective, I think you'll see Grubbs mix in a good bit of 12 personnel Saturday. Because that's what calms it down. That's 2 tight ends, 2 wide. That's what calms down their defense a little bit. When you are an aggressive defense like that and you like to move around, gap integrity is critical. And once you're able to line of scrimmage to create more gaps and multiple gaps, that forces them to calm down and not be moving around as much. I think that's one thing when they were at San Diego State, they had so much success there. It's because everybody was 10 or 11 personnel, and they gave 2x2 pictures or any kind of 3x1 with an H-back picture. And so you knew what you were getting, and they just teed off. They waited on the quarterback to clap, and here they just teed off because the pictures never moved, right? And I think that changing cadence, which is tough sometimes early in the season offensively, sometimes you outsmart yourself. But I think changing cadence, getting in some 12 personnel will calm that stuff down and force them for gap integrity for the run game. I think they're going to be a little bit more aggressive on you're going to see a little bit more aggression out of that defense early in downs, trying to get Ty Simpson in his first start basically to I know it's not, but his first real start, getting behind the chains, trying to create some negative plays early in situations. And so I think, Alabama's got good coaches too, right? So they know that, and you got to be able to counteract it on the front end of the game plan.
Good stuff, man. We just, ladies and gentlemen,
I hope I didn't confuse anybody. I know
that's
it's hard.
That's what you call football church. And I want you to go a little bit further, Tyler, because look, man, let's be real. There's a lot of familiarity on the other side, on the defensive side, going against the offense. I know a lot's being made about Gus Malzahn. And look, you were on that Alabama side when Gus was at Auburn, so you were in those Iron Bowls where Gus had some success against the Alabama defenses. But on the flip side, the Womacs went against him at Ole Miss when he was, was at Auburn. Is there too much to be made, or is there so much familiarity that there's not going to be much trickery? Or how much of an influence can Gus have on Florida State, or how much does Womac's knowledge,
Yeah, I mean, it's not really
counteract that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot played into that. Sometimes it's not necessarily that big of a deal. It's not really that from a defensive guy knowing an offensive guy, everybody runs the same plays anyway. You know what I mean? Like the same plays that Alabama was going to run Saturday, Florida State's going to run. They're both going to run inside zone.
Yep.
They're both going to run outside zone. They're going to both run some kind of gap scheme. And so, in the running game, it's all similar. Now, pass game, the pictures may look different, but everybody's going to run smash. Everybody's going to run some version of four verticals, right? Somebody's going to run comebacks. They're going to run RPOs and things like that. So it's not necessarily what they're running. It's how they run it. And what I mean by that is it's getting a feel for, okay, in this situation, this guy likes to do this. Like the first time there's like Gus is going to come out. Like I know Gus, okay? He's going to come out and he's going to go slow until he gets a first down. Once he gets a first down, he's going to try to start going tempo. If it's a really big play, he will have a particular tempo play that he likes to get to after a big play. It's a signal he's going to point down, and whatever that play is this week, that's what it is. And he's going to run it after the first big play. Gus is going, if he gets momentum or gets possession on the positive side of the field, he's going to take a shot early in the series, if not the first play. And he's got particular landmarks that it's going to be called on, and he's going to let it fly. So everybody knows that. It's just a matter of it's when they do it, I still have nightmares about it, but the kick six game when he's at Auburn, the play where he's going to pull read zone at a 3x1 and the single receiver. I guarantee you Alabama's practiced this 86 times this week. It's one of his things, and he's going to run it in big situations, but he's going to pull the read zone. And the corner's going to go block the corner, and he's going to let him go sloppy block, and he's going to pull up and throw it. Okay, and so they hit us on a big play on it late in that game, and we practiced that 87,412 times. Told them it was coming. Told them it was coming a critical down, and I think Kirby was yelling it right before it was called and letting them know it was coming. So it's about knowing, what they're going to do. It's when they're going to do it and making sure. But as a coach, it doesn't matter. I don't think, like, I'll tell you another bad one. In the playoffs against Ohio State, we knew every single play they were running before they took the snap as coaches. But it does not matter what you know; it's what the players know and what they can execute. So you got to be a good teacher.
Okay, look.
Quick question.
Go for it.
Quick question. Going off what Siskey just said for the panel. Where do you think that Florida State is most vulnerable? Judging off what everybody said, now that we kind of got a good conjecture of what's going on, where do you guys feel that Florida State is the most vulnerable on Saturday?
You asking me?
Oh, everybody. That's open to the panel.
Where Florida State, for me, where they're most vulnerable, this is me, I'm going to be geeky on you again. I think run gap integrity. I think
I was trying to say against the run before you said that, so I'd have sounded real damn smart.
Yeah.
Be quicker, Petty. Shit.
I think Grubb is really good at personnel and really good at formation and motions. And I think in that defense, run gap integrity is going to be the key, right? And run fits. And so they got to be able to fit the run because, look, Jam Miller, no Jam Miller, it doesn't matter who's the running back. They have to be able to establish a run to take some pressure off Ty. You can't go into any game early in the season and expect a guy that hasn't started. But he started one game in his career? South Florida game he started, was that even Milroe? Who was that?
He didn't start that game.
This is his first start?
Yeah.
So you can't go ask a guy, no matter how many stars he's got or his pedigree and all that stuff, you can't go ask him to go win the game in his first start. You got to be able to take some pressure off of him, and maybe he can go win it, but that can't be your game plan. So you got to be able to establish the run. And I think he's going to do that with personnel groupings, formations, and motions. And then for Florida State to be successful, they have to be able to fit the run.
And look, go ahead, man.
Just a question real quick. Do you think you notice with Grubb's offense, he likes to do a lot of pre-snap motion. Would that help get them out of that stack a little bit as far as that 3-3-5, just to kind of continue on what you were saying?
Well, they're not, the terming 3-3-5 is kind of very loose, right? That's more about the personnel that's on the field, not where they're lined up. Right. I think a lot of people visualize 3-3-5 and they see some like old school, high school, three guys stacked on top of them with two, that's just personnel groupings, right? And so, right. Like when we played that defense, they were a 3-3-5 personnel group. How they lined up in 4 down most of the night, right? So you got to be able, and it allows some freedom and moving. So when you're in, the way they played forever in that system is they may be 3 down, okay, but they're going to bring a backer, and it's simulated pressures, but they're bringing a backer to create an even front or to create an odd front. So if they got a nose and then 2 4 eyes and 3 down. Let's say they were in 3 down, they had a nose and 2 4 eyes. They may stem them one way. So they stem these two this way, this guy this way, and they may blitz a guy in the B gap. Well, all they did was create the over front. Now, the defensive tackle is technically the linebacker blitzing, but from an actual schematic standpoint, even with a blitz, all they're creating is an over or under front. Does that make sense?
Makes.
And so now, even though you're a 3-3-5, now you're playing 4-3 rules. And so why that's confusing and why they give people problems is because the center comes up, he calls stack, or whatever the call is for the front, and then they bring a guy, and now you're blocking stack rules against an even front. So it messes everything up. So if you know how to combat that and okay, which what I was talking about earlier is 12 personnel calms that down.
Right.
Okay, because the more gaps that you can create at the line of scrimmage, the less they can do all that shit. And then they'll check out of it and play base defense. And now they can't move. And when they can't move, now you can play big boy football and go and move people.
Great answer.
Look, and I agree. Look, I think this is a game where Bama's got one of the top 3 offensive linemen in the country, and I think Bama's loaded on the offensive line. I think they can lean on them. I think Dre Washington's going to be a name people know by the end of this game. I think that's a kid out of Louisiana that he came for a senior year to play. And a lot of those kids can play. But look, man, Bama's on the road at Doak, and they're a 13.5-point favorite for a reason. There's significant issues at Florida State. Not just I know last year it seemed they were 1 year removed from a title run until their quarterback goes down, right? And then they just made an egregious error at the quarterback position, and I'll just be real. I'll never understand the ukulele deal, but if you switch ukulele and Cam Ward, we're still talking about Cristobal being an idiot and Norvell's looking great, right?
Well, that's why DJ was at Florida State.
Yeah,
they missed
because they missed on Cam Ward.
Right.
But so again, we've talked so much to where it's like, it's just a shoe-in that Bama's going to beat that ass. There's got to be something. Come on, we got to give some clickbait to the fans, give some worry out there. If there's one cause of concern for Alabama? We're scouting Florida State right now. What is that cause of concern?
Oh, was it? Well, let me answer. Let me answer. Give me my answer, and then I'll answer yours. Okay, I'll answer yours, and I'll go back. As far as where, because you want to ask a question. As far as where Florida State can hurt us, I would say that they could try and take advantage of Ty Simpson being a new quarterback and just probably throw the kitchen sink at him defensively. Because other than that, I mean, I wouldn't say that Alabama's too susceptible from a Florida State standpoint. And then attacking Florida State on the flip side, I don't think their offense, having so many pieces from different schools, trying to fit them in against a second-year defense that is already clicking, that as veterans and young guys that have played and been successful in the system, and this is year 2, and the fact that we have developed so much depth, where Florida State, on the other hand, doesn't have that depth. They got 7 freshmen in their wide receiver room. They got 6 new transfers in their O-line room. That depth hasn't been created. I think where Florida State is even more susceptible is the fact that they don't have depth at any position right now. And I think that's where Alabama can seriously hurt them, especially going into the second half.
Man, Tyler, is there any place where, like Bama, if you're going into the game, you're like, man, that's it. They can get, maybe they can get to the offensive line and disrupt Ty. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Help me out here.
I think for me, it's just you got to stay out of negative plays. If you're Alabama, it's first down, right? You got to stay. I think first down's a critical down in this game. I think it's going to be Florida State's going to try to create negative plays, and whether it be simulated pressures or some kind of stunts, trying to create negative plays and get Alabama behind the chains. Like, you don't want to allow them to get into a rhythm. And Grubb's not stupid. He's really damn good, right? And he knows that. So I think his first down play calling will be a little bit more conservative. I wouldn't be surprised if you see, Ty Simpson using his feet early, creating some kind of, getting him on the perimeter with a naked or anything like that, or getting the pocket moving early in downs, early in the game, to avoid him sitting up in the pocket. But I think first downs are critical down in this game. And I think whoever wins that, particularly early on, is going to be able to establish a narrative that will continue. But I'm kind of with Lou here. I think as time goes on in this game, I think the depth will rise to the top.
Good Lord, the gambler in me, man. Usually, look, I'll be honest, when this many people feel this good, I start to all right. Let's look. We've hammered this one.
Your money don't make money, Dan Petty.
I know. All right, I hear you. We're getting tough talk now. But I think we've hit that to death. I don't think there's any more breaking down we can do of the 47 transfers at Florida State, half of them from Tennessee via Memphis or wherever the hell else. Let's hit that elephant in the room. And, guys, I'm not talking about the elephant in the room where Alabama's concession stand lies to 100,000 people every damn Saturday about the Denny dog. Look, man, like Tyler says, we eat bones in our chicken wings. We don't put tampons in men's bathrooms. We don't put pineapple on pizza. That's mine. I don't know who else. I think that's one of them. That should be one of them.
It is.
And we don't lie to our fans. If it says Denny dog, when you open up the package after paying $10 and there's a plain fucking hot dog in there, it's not a Denny dog. It's just a hot dog. So on your little sign, put hot dog. Otherwise, you're a liar. If I do anything in my Bama side of my fandom, it is going to bring the world's greatest stadium hot dog back to the greatest stadium in the country. Bama, I know y'all listen to me. I know y'all hear me. Hey, this gets spread. And Siskey's on here, so now we're really getting viral as shit. Quit lying to your fans every Saturday and bring back the Denny dog. Now let's get to the real elephant.
Hey, when they do it, when they bring back the Denny dog, let me know. I'm going to come do a concession stand review on the Denny dog.
I'll meet you there. We'll do it together. Will be a tag event. It will be a live streamed event. it'd be a gracious moment, dude. It's great. I'm not gonna lie. And then then when you're in certain parts of the stadium, you know who's eating Denny dogs by the aromas that come through. All right, the real elephant in the room, guys. We had a transition year that still resulted in 9 wins. I know that's a no-go in Titletown, but a dude that inherited a straight-up train wreck of people wanting to transfer, having to keep things together, has quietly got a roster that seems about as together as anyone in the country. I mean, there was no transfers. You're hearing a lot of whispers how bought in this team is.
You hit the right word.
What's that?
Bought.
All bought in. Everybody is bought in the right way, but that matters now because there's a lot of people.
That's why I tell everybody, let's don't act like they woke up and put their Bear Bryant houndstooth thongs on. They got paid.
Oh, Sissy, you're gonna hurt
they got paid.
Don't even start hurting feelings around here. Everybody grew
I thought
up.
we were telling the truth around here.
Everybody grew up.
I thought we weren't lying to the fans.
Tell the truth. We ain't lying.
I'm a little embarrassed about my houndstooth thongs now, though. I can't throw them some bitches out.
I mean, let's don't act like the players woke up and was excited about going to Denny Chimes this morning. You know what I mean?
You know how that works. You come through on your promises.
Hey, you pay them. You pay them, they stay. It's amazing how that works.
But look, man, he settled it down, and you're starting to hear. It's not just I've heard you guys talk about it. I've heard several media outlets. There's a lot of people starting to whisper they're not shocked at an 11-1 Alabama run. The elephant in the room, 1 year after the transition from the greatest coach of all time, we're going to Doak Campbell. Again, I've talked about it before the show. This is a place that was epic to me as a child. Bama's favored by 13.5. Is this the return of the Bama standard? Lou, I see you got that finger up. Come on. You want to go first with this, big boy?
Go ahead and let Van go.
All right,
go ahead and let Van go. I got something cooking.
Well, a couple things here. First of all, why 11-1? Why not 12-0? We're not playing your beloved Ole Miss Rebels. All right, so you don't have to throw in an automatic loss. I know how you defend them, double agent. But still, why can't they be 12-0? I mean, from an outsider with no coaching experience, I've got just a fan. You look at this roster, you look at this coaching staff. I mean, it's hard not to be hopeful for 12-0 and a deep playoff run or a championship. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard not to be. And you know, a lot of it falls on, I guess, you know, a change at quarterback this year and maybe opening up some different things with the offense. And, you know, I've defended Jalen to death. You know, he wasn't always what we needed, but I think Coach would agree on one thing. If you're new to Alabama and you got a guy that can score from anywhere on the field, you're probably going to start that guy. I mean, I feel like you have to. So, anyways, this year, well, you had him playing safety, kicker, and everything else for the season.
Tyler, you made a running back comment, Tyler. I said that on this show like 2 years ago, and like fire and brimstone came my way. I'm like, well,
I get to say it and leave. You get to hear it every week.
Yeah,
that's okay. I've been getting hammered this week because everybody's bringing up the Ulysses Bentley not playing at Ole Miss last year. I brought that back up. So they're still crying about that shit. So whatever.
Why would a coach with a playoff on the line not play the best player to give him an opportunity if there wasn't something deeper? God bless.
My favorite part is how people on a message board and social media think they're smarter than the guys getting paid $10 million to coach.
Right.
There we go.
That's my favorite part.
I mean, they obviously are because they're not getting paid $10 million.
Yeah.
Ben, look, I know you got a grin from Siskey, but I look at Alabama's schedule and look, they're 12-0. There's just too much parity in college football now. But if you look at every game, you can't just say the game at Athens is a loss because hell, that's one of those games that Georgia loses to Bama routinely. It just happens. It is what it is.
I will say this. I don't think there's a single team in the SEC that goes undefeated. I'm going to say that on the jump. I'm also going to tell you this. You know, we've had 3 presidents in a global pandemic since the last time Georgia's lost in Athens. So we do need to keep those things in mind. And when we have, like I like to say, if you've watched me on TikTok, hey, I live in reality out here. And fandom, you can't see it. You got your damn your fan glasses on. You can't see reality, right? So, like, look, I think Alabama's good. I think Georgia's good. But We can talk about that later. But the point of the drill is this: is I don't think any team in the SEC is going undefeated. In my opinion, I think there's too much parity at the top. I think you got 5 teams that can possibly get to Atlanta.
All right, Liz, the crock pot going off. You cooking done?
Who was the last team to beat Georgia at home, though?
What does it fucking matter? I mean, we've literally had 3 presidents. Bitcoin was at like $3. We've had 3 presidents in a global pandemic since they lost a game at period at home. So it's not to say that it's easy to go in there and win. I think it's a stretch.
No, I don't think
I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying you can't chalk it up as a loss either.
I'm not chalking up a loss. I'm just saying I don't
expect to win. It's crazy.
I mean, and look, y'all can say what y'all want to, right? Now, I think fans, this is where fandom. I love fandom, right? And it's great because I've been a hired mercenary so long that I'm not a fan of anybody. I'm just a football fan, right? And my favorite part about fandom is when you win a game, the fans, after about a year, they forget about how that game went. They could have won in 97 overtimes, and they won because somebody dropped a wide open ball. But a year later, like, yeah, we kicked shit out of them. We just beat them. And they forget. It's like, I mean, I've been there. I've been a victim of it myself. Okay. I've been a victim of it myself. Crazy things happen in Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I say that today, and Alabama fans go, Auburn sucks.
No, they know that there's voodoo. Like, there's voodoo in that stadium.
What they forget is the last time they were there, it took a 4th and 31 grenade off the top to win the game. And they had a shitty team then.
Dude, the kick 6 was 1 week after the damn prayer Jordan-Hare against Georgia. Like
weird things happen. I'm just saying, over the course of a schedule, weird things happen.
When you have a football field on top of dead Indian spirits and you do voodoo, weird shit happens. Very true. Lou, you've been over there cooking on this. I know, man. Yeah, I know you're ready to explode.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody remembers what these punk ass dudes said from Florida State about Alabama when we got in the playoffs over them. But I'm a type of guy, I'm an elephant through and through. I keep receipts. I remember what that coaching staff said about Alabama. I remember everything every single one of these fans talk shit about the last couple of years. So when all these Alabama dudes are saying the disrespect will be addressed, that's not just of what Tommy Castellanos or whatever his fairy name is that went to Boston College and got benched by a guy that didn't know what a quarterback was. But for the last couple of years, Florida State has done absolutely nothing besides talk shit about the SEC. They've talked shit about Nick Saban. They've talked shit about Kalen DeBoer. And now they're talking shit about the entire Alabama football team like it's not Alabama. I don't know if they don't know nothing about history, but Alabama's been Alabama long before the last 2 coaches I even mentioned. So to disrespect an entire university like they have gone on doing the last couple years, they've been able to go unchecked because they haven't had to face nobody. Well, guess what? Saturday, this is different. This game means more to me than most of the games we're going to play this season, minus the Tennessee, because you all know how I feel about that gay-ass school. But Florida State, the fact that they've been able to just walk through the last couple of years without getting an SEC type of beatdown that they have deserved more than 10 times over is going to happen Saturday. I feel like Deontay Lawson might have just stuck around just to dish out this ass whooping as the captain of our defense, because he was around when they're like, Alabama doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Florida State does. We might not have faced nobody, but we deserve to be in the playoffs. Hashtag you didn't get in the playoffs. And then the next year you lost like your first 4 games to nobody schools, Georgia Tech. And didn't you lose to Tommy Castellanos last year too? That's a different story. But the fact still remains that they've just been able to talk unchecked. Saturday, that's not going to happen. Saturday, they're going to get them white jerseys. And you know why, Alabama Nation, we wear them white jerseys? So we can wear our enemy's colors on our jerseys, just so they know at the end of the game, when that clock hits quad zeros and we're covered in that maroon, fruity color that they have down there, they know they got their ass whooped. And they know, guess what? We need to probably keep our mouth shut until we're good again, which might not be ever the way they're going. But I can tell you this, Bama, B-Sci-Fi and company is coming. The trench mob is offended. Our linebackers have been disrespected, and our secondary is ready to light these dudes up, especially the one that used to wear orange. Because I know Bray Hubbard don't even like a lot of our secondary don't like orange. So you put it on top of the disrespect, you put two guys from Tennessee on that team. Yeah, this ain't a normal opener. There's blood behind this.
Damn, Lou, you got the doll over there where you can show us where Florida State touched you?
Well, all right. So that's 2 shows in a row. I think they've got my picture up in San Francisco on the wanted posters, and now Lou has joined me. Lou, tell him, man, Burt Reynolds ain't walking through that door, is he? Casey Weldon and Danny Cannell and Charlie Ward aren't coming through that door.
No. Jameis Winston stealing frog legs, and Kermit ain't coming through that damn door to save him.
And look, we tried. They got invited through that door and turned it down twice because they were too scared to join the SEC. Ain't that right, Lou?
I mean, listen,
Siskey,
they should have been. I mean, with all the shit they talk, with all the recruiting, and we're so good, Florida State, which you know how we feel about Florida schools, anyways. They ain't been good in a couple of decades, but I just feel that Kane Womack especially. I love Kane Womack. I got to talk to him the first year he was there down for that mixer, and I got to spend like 10, 15 minutes with the guy and just talking to him about the defense and seeing how animated he is. This defense, oh, I just can't wait because I feel like that sack total last year is about to hit a upper with a quickness because this scheme, especially with these dudes getting their bodies to where they need to be over the summer, pain.
So, Siskey, we kind of chatted on this subject before in the green room. You're wearing green. Can you back that crimson up? Does that change what you were talking about earlier, or do you want to tell us your elephant in the room?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody on the team even remembers anything past, this is how kids are. They don't remember anything past 6 months. But I will say there's been a lot of jabs and shit talk going on. That's usually not a good idea. I've always said, even when I coached against Alabama, I was like, don't poke the bear, just show up. Do what Vandy did. Just show up. Oh, we're just poor little Vandy, and then try to go win a game. You can't do that. I'll say this, though, and this is real talk. I do think this. And you talk about, the standard of everybody that's played there, standard of everybody that's coached there, standard of everybody that goes on there. There is a standard that's at that place. It's a little bit different than everywhere else. The fans know it, but if Alabama doesn't go down there and take care of business for whatever reason, that it could be a very, very long year in Tuscaloosa. I expect, like, if you can't respond and if you watch the game played and they don't look not into the game's not the right word, but if they don't look overly motivated and have that kill instinct from day one, that would probably signal a problem for me. If I just watching the game from 1,000-foot view, you got to go down. I'm not saying you don't go play overly emotional and things like that and make stupid decisions, but you got to play with a purpose. And I think anything short of that would be a sign in the negative. I think if you're about the standard and you're really wanting to go 12-0, or you're wanting to have it be a serious title contender, you got to show up. The teams that are title contenders and real, they don't let that shit go unchecked, and it's not you don't really. And here's the thing is I think a lot of fans, a lot of people get misconstrued with this. It's not like you show up Saturday ready to play or not ready to play. That's not where the game is won and lost. People think that coaches come in there and they give some kind of speech and they're really excited and they're fired up and they go out there and play well. No, it's about how you prepare during the week for the game. And it's your attention to detail leading up to that so you can go execute on Saturday. The game's never won on Saturday. It's never lost on Saturday. The game, 100%, every single game that's played is won and lost between Sunday and Saturday. It's not lost on Saturday. So they should be all business. You know, it should be ready to go and almost to the point. You know, Coach was really good about this. You know, I've said this before, so it's not speaking out of turn, but you know, Coach was hell on wheels. Now we played, you know, Tennessee, Chattanooga, or whoever we played. It was a rough week. Okay, it was a rough week. But when we had these games that he knew that we were going to be up for, okay, like you're going to be up for the LSU game and things like that, it was almost the back. He would try to hold you back a little bit and not let you get too chippy and inside and you know, perimeter run and things like that. You know, it's Alabama needs to have that kind of chip on their shoulder of a big game, you know, preparation wise. And it's already started, obviously, but between now and they get on the plane to head to Tallahassee.
Well, and man, you really nailed it. I always said Saban, it wasn't that he was the best on Saturday. He was the best Sunday through Friday before Saturday ever took place. But Tyler, I'm gonna be real, man. We've done a lot of laughing and cutting up. Got a lot of Roll Tide in us going on the show. But let's be real, man. When you say stuff, it gets people's attention. There's a reason you go viral on the internet. I mean, you are as connected as anybody in the industry that does what we do on YouTube and talks today. I'll be honest, man. I tell everybody that listens that you and Neil's show is must listen, and the stuff you do on TikTok is must listen because you cut up, but you also are connected, and you're not just talking out of your ass. So when you say certain things, I'm not lying. I was watching the show today, and all of our picks are lining up, so I'm getting excited about that. But then you start talking about Bama, and I've heard it in other shows, and I know you're close with Kane, and you know. You obviously feel like this Bama team does have national title type capabilities.
Yeah. No, they do. They do for sure. I think in the SEC, I think Alabama and Texas both have probably legs up on everybody. I think right behind them is going to be LSU and Georgia, and then possibly Texas A&M. And I think Auburn and Oklahoma, Florida, with the right hit of schedule and the right wins, have the talent to do it. But, you know, those three teams have schedule issues too, right? So, but, you know, the biggest news of the offseason, not called the House settlement, occurred last week. And I think a lot of the media just kind of let it go a little bit. And, you know, it's new strength of schedule metrics that the playoff committee is going to use. And you've gone
15 minutes later, the SEC announces, we're going to 9 games.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, I said this, it broke when I was on, it broke that morning, and I did the live, and I literally said, and I told Neil, we had Tony Mandarich on the show that day. And so
really?
We didn't have, he was great. He was awesome. Great, very powerful story. I encourage everybody to listen to that episode. It was awesome. But we didn't have time to get to it, and I had it written down. But I told Neil after the show, I said, "Look, it's just a matter of time until the SEC goes to 9 games." And I said, "You know, and then they did it like an hour later or whatever it was." And you know, I think with that metric going in, now you got not all teams, but several teams can get in with 9. You know, and Florida's definitely one of them. I think Oklahoma's one of them. They can get in with 9, like Missouri didn't help Missouri or people like that, you know. But I do think that 9 gets some of these teams in the Texas A&M possibly gets some of these teams in the playoff conversation.
Gamblers with damn A&M. I get it.
I mean, I just do it like I'm being serious. I know. Don't laugh at me again. I deserve it, okay? But I can't not include them.
Oh, I know, because of paper. And I do think Elko's a good coach. I think it fits, and I think Marcel
I support that. I think Texas A&M is going to surprise people this year too.
I mean, they from a roster standpoint, and like, look, this game is not about coaches. We can sit here and talk about all that shit we want to.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to shock the world here, okay? But there are 133 coaches on planet fucking Earth that do this job. Okay. If you get the H and the C next to your name, you know what the fuck you're doing. And so whether fans think you do or you don't, okay, you don't get the job because it's a popularity contest. You get a job because you're good at your job. You don't get paid millions of dollars to be bad at your job. Now, you may not win on Saturday, but that doesn't mean you're incapable of doing a job. The difference is players, period. The difference is always and will always be the game is about players. Okay? We're on the Alabama show. Probably a good time to remind everybody that this guy that's got statues up there outside Bryant-Denny, and he's got a field named after him now. Okay? He went 6-6 his first year and lost to Louisiana Monroe. And then went to the Sugar Bowl the next year, or went to the SEC championship game and lost to Utah the next year. Did he become a smarter coach overnight, or did he get better players? So this game is always and always will be about players. And they have a roster and they have good coaches, and they have a roster to do what they need to do. Now, will they do it? Hell, I don't know. They screw me every year. But from a roster standpoint, from an offensive line standpoint, from a defensive line standpoint, unless something's changed in the game of football and it's not decided up front, okay, they should have what they need to be successful.
Well, it's just the crazy conundrum because you can't deny what everything you said, Tyler, what their roster looks like. I mean, they've got dudes. They're going to have one of the best offensive lines in college football. It's just that weird program that just seems to damn find a way. Look, you can say that about when we talk my double agent that y'all get about me. They do weird shit. There's some programs that just seem to do weird shit. One of them that's not is Alabama. And again, to revert back, man, I've heard you seem high on them, man. This again, not going undefeated. And you were talking about teams that you think could. Another one, Oklahoma. I guess Lou, you're with it on the A&M too. Until the milkmen get it, I don't fucking believe it. But I do believe
you worried about what the cheerleaders look like. I'm worried about what the people in the uniforms look like.
Yeah, but that if you got dude cheerleaders, man, it's just there's some things that hold you back in life. Like it just makes the ceiling.
So I guess you're not a Vikings fan this year either, then, huh?
Oh, are they the real men of genius commercial that's come true?
Man, that was weird. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think it was true till I seen them like in the uniform. I'm like,
I thought it was
that should go in the chicken wings diatribe, Siskey. I'm not gonna lie.
Brother, you probably don't know what we're talking about. You just need to get on social media and search up Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders and make.
He doesn't know what we're talking about because if he did, he wouldn't say that.
Oh, have I missed it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. I'm taking notes, Minnesota.
Ready? Yeah.
Is this not suitable for work?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's just I don't know how you haven't seen it.
Dude,
that's bizarre that you haven't seen it.
You'll be shocked at how much I can live on an ostrich farm at times in my life. It's
I believe
amazing.
it.
But you got daughters though. Like I figured like that'd be like something they like, hey dad, like there's.
Yeah, but they're at that age where they have their like I'm an ATM and that's it. Like I exist for money purposes and that I'm basically a pimp. All right, guys, we got Siskey here, so we're just gonna let it rip, man. Siskey, we did we've talked enough Alabama. I'm probably still gonna be Alabama, but while we got you here, man, look, you see Lou grinning. He was so excited. He's been brimming to get you back since you two went head to head. Man, that seems like a long time ago.
No, my man was trying to book me like 3 months ago. I was like, Lou, brother, I don't know what I'm doing next week. I said, just hit me up closer.
I like to do stuff in advance.
He went way in advance. It's like these speaking engagements. I had 3 speaking engagements that got booked in like January. And I forgot all about them until like a week ago. And the guy hit me up. I was like, oh, shit, I got to go speak.
Well, look, one session I do want to come on because we've had you enough, Tyler. I'm never going to ask you. And they always come up better organically anyway, as all the crazy ass saving stories you've told over the years. I guess now, though, that we've done it a few times, we can go, do some retrospective. Have you gotten, I know he's not very socially inclined, but maybe now that he's on media, he is more so. Has any of it ever gotten back to him, or has anybody ever kind of contacted you through?
No, I mean, I'm sure it's gotten back to him. He hasn't said anything to me about it. I haven't told told anything that was really bad. I mean, I haven't told anything.
I guess you haven't told anything as bad as Bo Scarborough told on there. So now, I mean, you've been more.
I don't. I know what I got a lot of stories I can't tell. you know.
I don't know. That story about getting what's his name on the plane was pretty Godfather-ish.
That story hasn't been finished.
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I get asked a lot.
So.
How did he get on the plane? I know how he got on the plane. Never tell it. Never tell it. It'll go right to the grave with me. I'll never tell it.
Okay, so you've been good enough. I do think Bo may have gotten contacted about his.
What's Bo did? What did Bo say? I'm scared. I didn't even hear it.
Oh, it was
about what's his name driving?
Yeah, it was on the Bama Standard. They were doing some event. I think it was a golf event, and Cedric was driving, and I don't know who else was in the back seat. It was another like assistant coach or something, and they're coming back from Birmingham in the Mercedes, and Cedric's doing 120, and Saban's on the phone in the front seat talking to somebody recruiting, and Bo telling the story. I can't do it justice because your boy Bo talks like Snoop, and Bo's like, man, I'm from the hood, so we doing 120. I'm like, hell yeah. And he said, the other coach was like, hey, Sid, you going to slow down? You going to slow down? And then he said, a cop pulls out and turns the light on. And about that time, Bo's like, oh, shit. And the other coach was like, hey, we got to slow down. And he said, Cedric just lost it. What the hell? They know better than to do. And he's like, just losing it. And Saban turns around, looks around, and he's talking to the so-and-so. And the other coach is starting to get, he's like, hey, are we going to slow down? And finally, Saban put down the phone. He said, we're not stopping for nobody. He hangs up his phone, makes a call, and about 30 seconds later, the lights turn off and back off, and they just head on to Tuscaloosa. And, man, Bo gets done with the story, and I think we've got, like, Marvin and Smoke on there like Bo. Some of the stories, man.
Yeah, you got them the ones you just can't tell. You know what I mean? The ones you can't tell.
I can tell it now because it's already been told, so, hey, sorry. It's out of the bag.
Said is awesome. I got some Said stories too. But
Said's
the man. Said, I haven't told any stories about Said, and I won't. Said's my guy.
I'll be honest. Said people don't realize if Bama is a mafia, he's the Don. Like
dude, Said's the man. Like Said is the man of the men's of man. He is the men's of man. He's the true governor of the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Cedric Burns is my guy.
He said they know better than to pull me over.
Yeah, like Saban said, we're not stopping for nobody.
Yeah, Saban. Said's truly. I mean, I don't know if y'all know him or y'all got a chance to meet him. But
I have.
Said's the best. Said's
well, and if you don't know the story, and correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding of the Said story is his mom worked for Bear. And the family connection, he was assured that he would always work with the university, and he did his job so well that
he went across all head coaches.
Yeah, because we had when I worked at the Tuscaloosa VA, we would have Saban, we had Saban a few times, and I always joked because we had what's the idiot everybody hated on CBS, Danielson. We had folks like that. We had OJ and we had Derrick Henry all come out. And we would have politicians, and I joked that when we had Saban, I think the rules that got put on us, we could have had Obama, and Obama was president at the time, and we wouldn't have had the strict of rules.
Don't play.
It was like you got him for 30 minutes. He's coming in the back door, and Cedric lined all this up, and so we go out to meet him, and I didn't know the whole Cedric deal. Cedric was driving. He had hats, and Cedric was basically like, this is how it works, and laid it all down and kind of learned the whole Cedric story at that point.
Yeah, Said's the best, man. The best day with Said was when we would mess with Said, teasing him. But one day at practice, like Coach Stallings and Coach Perkins came to practice. So we had Coach Perkins, and when they would get there, it was just like they were still the head coach, So Said was doing all the stuff, and I was
really?
We were teasing Said. We're like, who's the boss today, Said? It's like, because he had Coach Saban, Coach Stallings, and Coach Perkins, and he was rolling. He was high stress. He was rolling. But no, Said's the best, man. He truly he made my job easier too, right? I mean, that's the thing that he does that I don't think he never publicly got any credit for really, but he made everybody in the building's job much easier. And, especially in recruiting when you're having to get coach somewhere or you're trying to anything that had to do with coach. I mean, he took all that pressure off of, like, you knew if Said was involved, it was going, not only was it going to get done, it was going to get done correctly. And it's just, it takes a lot of pressure off of you.
Good stuff. Well, look, Tyler, I've talked to you enough. We talk all the daggum time. Like you said, Lou has been trying to get you on here for months. Van, who I'm dead serious. This guy This guy knows he knows his shit. And I know he's got some questions for you. And I know
Yeah,
Lou's
fire
just
away, man.
sitting there
Good.
itching. I'm gonna shut up and let these guys have at you.
Man, I think the first thing I would ask you is what was it like coaching with Steve Roberts, who I've always enjoyed his work. You know, I was always a fan of what he'd done at different schools. And what's he doing now, you know?
Yeah, so Coach Roberts, I started working with him at Northwestern State. He gave me my first I was a tight ends coach there. And, you know, he went to Arkansas State. I went with him from Northwestern State. I went to St. Paul's to be a high school coach, and I came back to work for him as a receivers coach in 2008. He is now the head of the Arkansas High School Athletic Association, the head there at Arkansas. But just really early in my career, I guess I was 23 when I started working for him. And I worked for him all the way up till I was 32, 33. So, I worked with him a long time, kind of cut my teeth with him and I'll tell a story about him. I think I've told a few times. I think I've told him live. I don't think I've ever told him on a podcast. But I was at Troy and with Coach Blakeney at Troy, and back then, this would have been 2000. This would have been 2000. Okay, so this has been December of 2000. There was a website called Football Scoop. It's very popular now, footballscoop.com. And basically, for the people who don't know, it's kind of like a classifieds for coaches. Mm-hmm. And so we only had one computer in the entire building that had internet. Okay. And we had it was in our video coordinator's office. And so season had ended. I was in the middle of getting ready for finals and stuff, because I was technically an undergrad, finished my grad. So I was going to trying to find a GA job. And I get on Football Scoop, and this is middle of December, whatever it is, December 15th, 16th, something like that. And I pull up Football Scoop and I see an ad for a tight ends coach at Northwestern State. And they were in our league at the time at Troy, because we were FCS at the time. And it had a phone number. If you're interested, call this number. It's 6 o'clock on a Wednesday or Thursday. I don't even know what day it was. And I'm thinking I'm going to call this number and it's going to go to a voicemail. Okay. And so I call the number. I use my long distance code. Shout out to Troy. Appreciate that free long distance call back in the day. I use my code and I call this number. Well, hell, Steve Roberts picks up the phone. And he's the head coach. So I call a number on a website and the head coach picks up the phone. I mean, first of all, what's the chances of that? But anyway, I basically sell myself over the phone and this guy hires me over the phone.
Wow.
And so all that happened, right? And then I go and I coach with him, all that stuff. And years go by. And him and I'm talking about, this was 2008 or 9. So this is almost, years go by. And we're sitting out there during stretch one day. Okay, I'm coaching receivers, and everybody's going through stretch, and he's flipping his whistle, whatever. We're just talking, and he goes, "Ever tell you?" He goes, if you ever wonder if the big man upstairs has got a plan for you, he goes, you know how or why I hired you? And I said, "What do you mean, coach?" I said, "I thought he was talking about bringing me back as a receivers coach." I said, "No, sir." He goes, "No, I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about when we first talked." I said, "You remember calling me that December night and I hired you over the phone at Northwestern State?" I said, "Yes, sir. I do remember that." He goes, "I was going to a Christmas function. No one was in the office. I had left my wife's Christmas present in my office. I drove back up to the office to go get her present. And I was walking to my office, and the phone just randomly started ringing. It wasn't my phone. It was the secretary's phone. And I was wondering who in the world is calling up here at this time of night. And so I was just curious. So I picked up the phone. Wow. So if he doesn't do that, I don't get that job. And there's no telling what my career would be, because if I didn't get that job, I would have never met a guy named Hugh Freeze, which I'd have never gone to Ole Miss, which I'd never gone to Alabama, so right. You talk about butterfly effect. Yeah. So I always tell people is it's about, it's to get opportunities, you got to be really lucky, like I was. But then when you get your opportunity, you got to go. You got to go do something with it.
See, this is the kind of stuff I was looking forward to, man. You just don't get to hear this kind of stuff every day. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I mean, other than godly intervention, that's some Drew Brees, Cooper Manning butterfly effect stuff right there, dude.
No, it's wild, man. I mean, it's my whole life would be different.
Wow. Those moments.
Yeah. It's wild when you think about it. And there's been a bunch of them along the way. You know what I mean? Like in my path, in my career, I can give you 10 or 15 things that are just butterfly effects. One little thing changes and my whole life's different. So it's kind of wild.
That's an awesome story.
LaShawn.
I got a question. And this is going to be interesting. So I know as coaches, you guys take your job obviously very seriously. And I've always been curious about this. Like when you go up against a school, and I know like we as fans and players have enemies, but like, do you guys ever come up against coaches where you're like, you know what, I really just can't stand that motherfucker?
Yeah.
Like it, and like, does that add a little bit of extra attitude and animosity and a little bit more drive to just put them in the dirt a little bit further? Because sometimes in college football, it seems like, especially nowadays, as opposed to how it was back in the day, coaches seem to be like, all buddy. And I feel like that's not the case. And I'm curious to see, like, is it what coaching staff did you guys have the most problems with as far as just, I just can't stand these guys?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a little bit of it, I don't sit here and say it's a coaching staff. It's usually one guy or two guys on the other sideline, or sometimes it's not any, there's a lot that you get along with, but that really doesn't matter. Like me being pissed off or not liking somebody is not going to change the game. Where would it matter is if, we got a chance to stick another one in on the back end of it instead of taking it easy. Yeah, you may get some of that, but you're not going to, and you're not going to. But the game has changed too, and it's gotten to a point to where, okay, you get pissed off and you're beating somebody, and hey, I want to stick another one in, but at the same time, I want to get my guys out of the game because I don't want to get them hurt. If I got somebody hurt trying to do that, I'd feel terrible. So, yeah, there's definitely, don't get me wrong, yeah, there's guys that you don't like, but there's no. It's not a team. It's not a whole staff ever. It's usually one or two guys on the other end. I mean, just being completely transparent, there's really only two coaches that I've ever worked against or whatever that I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire.
I think I know one of them.
Can I ask one question about that?
Yeah.
Did they work for any schools that wore orange?
At one time.
I'm sure they have at some point in time. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna twist Lou's question a little bit different, because instead of the like hating coaches on the other staff, I do feel like though there are certain coaches that have had coaches on the other sideline that have taken them out of their game and made them. The one that I thought was the biggest example in the 90s was Steve Spurrier. I thought mind screwed Philip Fulmer to the point where he beat him a lot of times, not on the field as much as he did Fulmer overthinking stuff. Maybe I'm wrong on that. And Kiffin and Nick Saban. I think Lane Kiffin, and y'all talked about it a lot on y'all show, and shit, you could look at it. Bama fans might not notice it because they're so hyper-focused on Alabama, but if you were paying attention to Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin acted weird the week of the Alabama game and almost seemed like he would coach a little different at those times. So do you think there's certain is that a real element?
Well, I think in like Lane's case with Coach Saban, I think he couldn't do his normal deal because how much he respected Coach. You know what I mean? Like there's he probably took him out of his game that way. But that's the thing is I think it's really overblown a little bit. I mean, you're either ready for the game or you're not as a coach. It's like taking a test, right? You either studied or you didn't, right? And so coaches study, and so you're either prepared or you're not. But at the end of the day, you don't ever design plays that you're like, hey, they're not going to work. You know, it's a little bit of a chess match, right? So if I got 6-man protection and we're setting the point to the left, and sometimes you're going to get me, right? Sometimes you're going to show me blitz. I'm going to check the protection, and you're going to bring it the other way. And I gotta hope I give my guys got the tools to be successful, but hope he finds those tools. You know, when he reaches in his tool bag, make sure he pulls out the right screwdriver, right? So it's not really, I think a lot gets put on the coaches as far as, oh, this guy did this, this guy did that. But at the end of the day, it's always about the players. I mean, it's you got to put them in the best possible position to be successful in the field and give them the tools to be successful. But they're the ones that got to make the plays. And I think as coaches too, kind of answer your other question, Petty, is even if you, and then Lewis kind of follows yours up too, is like, if you got bad feelings toward a guy, I think when your players know that and you make a big deal about it makes them anxious. Like, you don't want your players playing with anxiety, right? You want to, on Saturday, you want to cut loose and go. You don't want, like, that's just fake motivation. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be, that stuff doesn't last. You're like, I mean, I'm assuming everybody here has been in a fight before, you know, and, you know, or have been punched before. And when you get hit, right after you get hit, you don't go start thinking about all the trash talk and everything that's going on. You just think, this dude just hit me in the mouth. Like, you're after the first play, man, you're playing ball. You revert back to your training. You revert back to what you prepared for. There's not some lingering deal in the game about animosity towards someone else. It's kind of hard to explain, but I guess that's probably the best way I can explain it.
I know that's actually a good one, because a lot of people like to make a big deal of what the Castellanos kid said in the offseason about, you know.
It's a big deal, but it's a big deal Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
That's when that works. It doesn't work on game day.
Would coach use that? Like, if somebody said something like the Castellanos kid say, would Saban use that as actual bulletin board material? Like, y'all, I mean,
I honestly don't think we had a single like that. Was no.
I didn't think. See, that's. I mean, I didn't feel like that was something, because again, we just had Ruben and Marvin, and Marvin said, I didn't need motivation. When I strapped my chin strap on for Alabama, I wanted to kill whoever was on the other team. It didn't matter who it was. I didn't need the talking. So I've always felt like it's more fan driven.
It is. Whole. But we had some training. Like, if that's what motivates you, you're not a real player. You know what I mean? You don't have the dog in you. Like, we had some freaking dogs. Like, but, I mean, you don't.
On the other hand, on what you guys are talking about, you had actual killers on those teams.
Yeah.
We have yet to see killers on this team.
But you better go recruit them.
That's the answer.
Well, Siskey, you just gave an answer to a question that I've been harping on for the last couple years, and look, I pray it's different this year.
I can have a 10-minute conversation with a kid, and I can tell you if he's about that life or he's not. You can't have 85 dudes that are choir boys, and you can't have 85 assholes, right? You got to have the right mixtures, but you got to have them in the right spots. You got to have them in the right spots.
But you do need some assholes.
Oh, you got to have some assholes.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I've always said, if I was recruiting linebackers, they've got to smoke cigarettes and they've got to listen to the last Mr. Big. I don't know. I don't need a choir boy at linebacker.
I know y'all had Ruben on, or whatever y'all had him. Y'all had him on. Ruben, Jonathan Allen, Ashawn.
Yeah, them dudes. But
and then, hey, look, here was the kicker. When I was there, we had nice guys that were assholes. Like, Ruben was awesome. I mean, awesome with the coaches and everything else. When he got on the field, don't talk to him. Let him go do his thing. Jonathan Allen, the most respectful, nice person ever. But, like, before the game, and you had to give him a little break after the game too. It took him a minute to come down, but dog. Dog. And then we had, like, our nice guys were like Reggie Ragland. Okay. Yeah. Reggie Ragland. Nice smile. I mean, just the nicest person. Awesome. But brother, and he was nice except when the ball snapped. When the actual football moved for about 10 seconds, he was a major asshole. You know what I mean?
But
like
see,
we had dudes that were just, just built different. You know what I mean? And and it's not really an Alabama thing of what they're doing now versus what Coach Saban was doing then. It is a cultural thing, and it's all across college football. And, and the more, I'm just going to be honest, I'm being real with you. The more we get into these 18-year-old kids that are getting paid millions of dollars or in hundreds of thousands of dollars, we'll just leave it there. But when you're at Alabama and you're at Auburn, you're at Georgia and all that, these kids, and we've all been 18. Okay. What if somebody handed you $700,000 at 18 years old?
Oh, shit.
Couldn't tell you shit.
No.
Couldn't tell you shit.
Tell me shit when they handed me
I can tell you this.
at that age.
It very good odds it wouldn't have made it 4 weeks.
But my point is this is like, a lot of the guys that we had, and it's not just Alabama, it's at other places, football was their way out.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about after where we were located was their way out. And so now they're almost getting there. And so there's this sense of, financial freedom that I don't know. I think players should be paid. I do. I think they should be paid. I'm all in on that. I do think they should be paid. The problem with college athletics, like I've said 1,000 times, is not players getting paid. The problem with college athletics is unlimited free agency. That's caused the market to get reset every year, and the money's getting out of hand.
When you have no restrictions on the transfer portal,
but that's the problem, because right now, when we're in the system of unlimited free agency, okay. Now let me ask you a question. You're a kid. You're a recruit. You're 18 years old. You go somewhere. I'm a 2 or I'm a 3. Okay. They don't have the hunger to develop, to fight through adversity and come out the other end at a higher level. They're just going to hit the easy button and go somewhere where they can play. And so it's the same thing. Okay. Y'all all know this. I'm not telling anybody, I'm going to bring it together for you right here. This generation that we're in, they want to go from being the GA to the head coach. They want to go from being the intern to the boss. Okay. But what they don't understand is the steps along the way is how you learn to do that job. And so these people, they go from being the intern to they'll go from being a 2 or a 3 at Alabama to being a starter somewhere. Yeah, they're going to get playing time, but they're not ready to play because they haven't done the things and fought through the adversity and developed as a player to get to their top potential. That's why we have an offensive line problem in college football right now. It's because it's the most developed position that needs to be happening in college football. These guys transferring. And so I may go from somewhere where I'm running inside zone, outside zone, go somewhere that runs gap scheme. Whatever it is, I'm not developed. I don't have those skills developed to be a good player.
I think, man, I of course, so much gold there. But, man, the thing that screams to me the loudest, Siskey, is, look, man, they made the movie Blue Chips back in the day. It's not like players getting paid as a new thing. It's just the amounts. And like you said,
Players never got paid before NIL was against the rules.
Yeah, never got paid.
Man.
Never got paid, not once.
Never got paid before NIL. Yeah, it was against the rules, but.
Against the rules.
Yeah, Marcus Dupree went to Oklahoma because he just loved Boomer Sooner. But again, even then, numbers weren't what they were, and it wasn't like sustained salaries. And then you couldn't transfer and not sit out 1 year and go get it again. And like you said, Lane, and so many coaches point out, you can do this 3 times. Again, where's the motivation? Because you're leaving. We had a kid on the other night, Nick Abrams, and I realized I'm 45 years old, and he ended up picking Georgia, right? But his mom's a CPA, his dad's an attorney. This kid, and now he's going into a world of college football and he be real, man. You're not doing recruiting, you're doing negotiations. What's the best deal? And you've got parents that are setting you up like this. It's a 19-year-old kid that don't ever have to step on the field And next year, if with the type of money he's getting, can be set for life. So yeah, it does change that drive dynamic, because this is something that Smoke always talked about. When you come to Alabama, when you come to Reuben Foster, it's the end all. That you're coming to Alabama, that's it. That's all, because that's your life. You're about that life. Like it's the next step that's to get me to the next step, which is the NFL. But Bama gives, Saban gave that best opportunity for a solid decade. But it's just the money, man. I don't know. How does that not completely change the game at some point?
Well,
to a point where you don't have those kids anymore. It's just
I think with rev share coming in, and again, if it sticks around for any period of time, it's gonna cause a reset. But here's the thing: is like, again, shocker, you give coaches rules, we'll find a way around it, right? So, we had so many teams front loading rosters and everything else that you're not going to see the effects in big boy football. You're not going to see the effects of rev share until 2027. Now, I'm not going to mention them. I know who they are, but I'm not mentioning them. There's going to be some really big name programs that are going to be in really, 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 really big trouble in 2027 because of how they've been getting, like this 26 class is the 26 recruiting class is going to get a lot of schools in big time, just up shit creek without a paddle shit in 2027 because of the way that they've been getting recruits. Recruiting is a little funky right now, and it's not hard to figure out. You can go look and see, like, man, they got that recruit out of that state that's not in their state. I wonder how they did that. Well, there's this little thing called NIL Go, and if it has any kind of teeth at all, and they're able to do what they said they're going to do, and so far they have, there's going to be a lot of teams in this country that are going to be up shit creek without a paddle in 2027.
Because you've set a budget that is getting where's that? These kids are, because and I understand this right, because kids are going to be expecting these money they were offered that they now can't get because the school's not going to have it give, right?
So all juniors and seniors, when you enroll in college, you have to report your NIL earnings from your junior and senior year of high school. Okay. When they report those, they're going to be third party, which is against the rules. And so the kid's not going to have to turn the money back in. That money is going to have to come off the top of the cap. So I'll give you a great example. I'm not going to mention the player, school, or nothing, but there is a particular player that I know that has about 7 to 10 offers. Okay. That's about the range. All right. And he's trying to decide where he's going to go. Then another school comes in and offers him $650, offers him $350 rev share, and then an NIL payment because in his state it's legal, an NIL payment through the collective for $300,000. Well, when he enrolls in college, he's going to have to report that it came from that collective. Now, when he goes to college, it's not going to be $350,000. His now number is going to be $650 for his first year. And so that's $300,000 that they can't go get a recruit. So the particular position that this kid plays, all right, his value, let's call his value $350. I say that's on the high end. Okay. Well, they're going to be locked into that kid for $650, that one player. So they can't, and he's a high school kid, he may bust. That means they can't go get another one. And so, but they're doing that across the So you're basically doing this 2-for-1 exchange financially.
So it causes great holes in rosters.
There'll be a lot of holes in rosters real quick.
Man,
I'm still processing all that. That's wild. I actually wanted to ask you a little bit about when you became offensive coordinator at St. Paul's. I was in high school at the time.
Thanks, man. You feel old as shit. Thank you.
Dude, you look younger than me now, if it helps anything. But I was in high school at the time. We were definitely paying attention to every big program in the state, and St. Paul had eyes. Everybody had eyes on St. Paul, and the progressions statistically that offense made while you was there every year was so impressive to me. And I know you had some great players down there, AJ McCarron, of course, being one of them. But what was that transition like when you went to high school again, coaching high school, and then step back out and you end up at Ole Miss in a couple of years? What did that feel like? And I know that's a broad question, but, did you enjoy your time at St. Paul? with those kind of guys, and then you turn around and you're a player personnel guy at Ole Miss, how do you make that transition for anybody that may be interested in going from coaching to taking that next step?
Yeah. So, when I got to St. Paul's, we had crazy talent. And that definitely helps play calling when you got good players. AJ was my starter. My backup was a kid named Jacob Coker. He's
really tall.
Yeah, he's a big dude. And I had this guy named Mark Barron as a backup. Mark Barron was my backup number 2 running back, 7th pick in the NFL draft. He did pretty good at Alabama. My starting running back was a young man by the name of Ivan Matchett, who also signed at Alabama. He had in I think it was the second or third scrimmage of his freshman year, he got a stinger, and they diagnosed him with stenosis of the spinal cord, so he could never play again. And then I had the best football player I have ever coached on any level, Destin Hood, who also signed at Alabama, but he got drafted in the transitional round, where they call it compensatory round in the draft, like 55 overall or something like that by the Nationals. And so he went and played baseball. I had Lewis Watson on that team. Lewis went to Mississippi State. We were loaded, and we had several guys go to Ole Miss. Mike Thomas went to Ole Miss. We had a couple others go. We were really good. But long story short is, I didn't ease up on them. I was a pretty big asshole to them early on in their career. It was very, and I was young and I was full of piss and vinegar. But, the thing there is at St. Paul's, when I got there is, I felt like I was arriving to a mentally soft group. And so the first thing I really try to do is establish a culture and really not, you got to be mentally tough before you're physically tough. And so that was kind of my deal there. AJ was so, AJ was so gifted mentally for the game. He understood, he could do what I wanted to do at an early age. He understood protections, and I didn't go like, hey, this is enough for you. Like if he picked it up, we went to 101 to 102 pretty quick. Right. And we just kept going up until we got there. And then, we just had good players. When you got 2 running backs, like Ivan Matchett averaged 10.89 yards a carry for a career. 10.89, and Mark followed him up at 10.19. So I had my starter. Brother, it was like playing a video game. And it wasn't fair. And I'll tell you a funny story about high school is I would scheme stuff up, right? And it was so different, in college, you may see 26 to 29 variations of coverage in the course of a game. In high school, I can watch most teams, not all, but most teams, I can watch probably 10 clips and I can draw up the rest of their defense. Because they're just going to have the same variations off their base. And so it's not schematically, it's not very difficult. Comparative to college, but I would scheme things up, and then I noticed early when I started, I would scheme things up, and I would notice the other coach would make adjustments at halftime, and then I would be spending the whole second half trying to adjust off what he did. And so, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I will. When we really started getting cooking, I would design plays where I knew the defensive coordinator had me beat on the board. I knew he had me beat. He knew he had me beat. Why did I do that? I would run speed option and then high point the number 2 receiver all the way to the safety and leave the flat coverage defender unblocked. Okay, that's really bad football. Don't do that, guys. If you're a coach and you're listening, do not do this. And I would pitch that bitch to Mark Barron. Well, the difference is Mark is going to make him miss 7 out of 10 times. And when he misses, he's going to the house. Well, the difference is that if the defensive coordinator knew that he had me beat, he wouldn't change his scheme.
Right.
And so I didn't have to adjust. I just let my players beat. My X's were better than those. Back then it was big gap scheme, right? We would run ISO and we would take the combo all the way back to the wheel and leave the play side backer in ISO unblocked.
That's not even.
Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. But their guy is not tackling my guy half the time. And when he doesn't tackle him, there's no one else left.
A lot of people don't understand what you just said, but yeah.
Okay, for the people that don't understand what Tyler just said, go run a play on NCAA football on JV. Then run the same play on Heisman and see if it works, and it's going to get picked up. That's what he's talking about. He was running plays against JV with Heisman players, and so you could let a player who would normally make the play if he was on equal footing, but he wasn't on equal footing. So his player just made a fool of other players that were standing wide open to make plays, but just could not do it.
I tell the joke all the time. It wasn't a joke, but it's one of my favorite AJ stories. And he laughs when I tell him now. He'll never admit this now, but it happened. His first time he ever got in a game. Okay, first time we're playing Carver Montgomery, first game, and they had been a wing T team there forever, right? And I knew they wasn't going to do any. They didn't know me. They thought I was probably just some wing T guy or whatever. The very first series of the season, we lined up in the wing T and we shifted to empty. Okay. And they had 9 guys in the box when we were lined up.
Just to screw with them.
Yeah, because I knew that they'd been practicing wing T. That's all they've been practicing.
We were still lined up in it. That's what.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm good at that stuff. I love doing that, messing with people. So we lined up in it and we shifted to empty. Well, they didn't move. They didn't move. Good. They had 9 guys in the box. They did not move. We're in empty, and they had 9 guys in the box. They had a guy on this receiver over here, a guy over here. They left the 2 to the right uncovered. They left the slot to the left uncovered. And AJ's literally I think he was 30. I don't think he turned 14 yet. I think because he's young. I think he was 13 years old at the time. And they were just all 9 of them were coming. And AJ's just getting lit up. He couldn't get rid of the ball. And so then I called a screen on 3rd down, and he couldn't get rid of that. So he gets sacked 3 straight snaps. And he comes off the sideline, and he's just raising hell. He's like, they're what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? They're coming from everywhere. What do I do? I was like, son, I said, this is not going to be a good coaching point, but I don't know what else to tell you. I said, we got 3 guys that are running down the field that are completely uncovered. I said, just pick one. He said, well, which one? I said, it doesn't matter. Pick one. I said, there's nobody covering these 3 guys. And he was like, I just, and then we got him settled down. But I mean, they brought 9.
Toss it up, buddy.
They brought 9. But to answer, that was a long story to tell you this. But I went to, Coach Roberts hired me back. That was a tough decision. I took a $40,000 pay cut to go back to college.
To go to college?
I did. I took a $40,000. That was a tough conversation to have with the wife. I took and had my first and had just had my second kid. And so I took a $40,000 pay cut to go to college to coach receivers. And we went back and so we won a state championship at St. Paul's, go to Arkansas State. My first game at Arkansas State, we go into Kyle Field and beat Texas A&M. I thought this coaching shit was easy. I thought I had it all figured out, right? But the recruiting thing kind of was interesting is we didn't have big staffs back then, right? So I was always the recruiting coordinator and did all that stuff. And then once we got to Ole Miss, I did it. I can say it now. It doesn't matter. I did the recruiting in the off season, but I coached during the season. So we had somebody else to kind of handle that. It was just a way to get extra coaches and do that job at the same time. And then the guy named Nick Saban calls me out of the blue, and then I picked up the phone and hauled ass to Tuscaloosa. The rest is history.
Yeah, I don't think that's a phone call you ignore.
That was an interesting one. I got that phone call sitting right next to Hugh Freeze. So that was a fun time.
Yeah, tell that story.
It was the Monday before signing day. That would have been Monday before signing day in 2013. We were in a staff meeting going over the board, and we were going over everybody. And I kept getting phone calls. You got your iPhone and you have it on silent, but I kept getting phone calls from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I just kept getting them the whole meeting. I get the same number over and over and over again. And so finally, you know how it pops up voicemail, right? I didn't have it in my phone, so I was just whatever. And so when we were breaking the meeting, Hugh said, you know, the way the staff room was there, we had doors on both sides, and like compliance and the secretaries and everybody that's waiting on coach to sign something or whatever, they were outside and they all come in and talk to him. And he's like, hey, stick around. Let's me and you go through the board one more time. I was like, okay. And we had this big round table. Our staff table was a huge round table. And I literally sat across from him. And so as I'm getting up, I'm going to go walk and sit in the chair next to him. I get up, I'm listening. It was Lance Thompson. Okay. And Lance was like, hey, Tyler, it's Lance Thompson. Give me a call when you get a chance. And Hugh gets done and looks over and he goes, who was that? I saw your phone. Who's blowing you up? I said, that's Lance Thompson at Alabama. And Lance had recruited St. Paul's when I was a high school coach, right? And so I'd known Lance, and he's like, call him back. You know, let's see what he's trying to get some information, because we were recruiting against each other on a couple of guys that year, right? And so coming on the way, he's trying to get some information. Let's call him back. So I put it on speakerphone and I call him back. And so it's literally just me and Hugh. Hugh's literally sitting right here to my right. Okay. And he said, he called me. He's like, hey, Tyler, what's going on, man? I was like, hey, I got him on speakerphone. He's like, you by yourself? And I was like, yeah, I'm by myself. And Hugh's like, yeah, Hugh thinks he's fixing to get information, you know? And he said, oh, hey, he goes, hey, Nick wants to talk to you for a second. And I'm like, Nick Saban? I'm like, and so coach gets on and he does the same thing I was just, hello, Tyler. And so it's like, you know, Tyler, I have a job over here running recruiting. Is it something you would be interested in? Okay. And so I literally, with phone like this, I just turned and looked at Hugh like this, and Hugh goes, ask for a lot of money. And I went, yes, sir. And he goes, all right. He goes, well, hey, we got Sunday, Wednesday. I'll give you a call Thursday at 6:00. And when my phone hit 6:00 on Thursday, he called again. And I think Hugh thought it was a joke. And he called me and asked me if I was interested. And I was like, yes, sir. And then we talked for a little bit, and then it went radio silent. Okay. It goes radio silent for weeks, for like, that was in the 1st of February. It goes radio silence for about a month. I mean, nothing. And I get a call. We're going on spring break that next Monday. I get a call like on Thursday from Lance. I said, Lance, what's up, man? And he goes, I just thought it would, he may have asked me if I was interested, whatever, and he'd moved on. He's like, man, that's bullshit. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I have called you and texted you for a month, and you haven't returned any of my phone calls. Why? I was like, brother, you haven't called or texted me one time. And so he had my number. He was calling and texting my number that I had in Mobile that I didn't have anymore. I hadn't had for years. He was calling the wrong number. I was like, I think he goes, you don't have the 25. No. I said, no, you're calling a 662 number now. I don't have that number. He's like, oh, that makes sense. Well, hey, like coach wants to talk to you about the job, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. And then I didn't hear anything from coach. And then that was on like Thursday. So we go on spring break on Monday. So we're on spring break, but my wife and my kids were in like it was a weird deal that the college was on spring break, but the school wasn't, So I was just hanging out. I went to go get a haircut. I was getting a haircut. That's back when I had a head full of hair. I was getting a haircut, and my phone is blowing up in my pocket. And I look at it, it's Hugh. And this dude, I was at one of those deals where I got the straight razor, like the real straight razor.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't answering the phone. I was like, he can wait until I get done. And so I was almost done. I called Hugh back, and he goes, hey, Nick called me and asked for permission to talk to you about the job. He goes, I want this over fast. He goes, we're on spring break. I want a decision that you're either going or you're staying by the end of spring break. I was like, coach, I haven't talked to him. You haven't talked to him? I said, every time I've talked to him, I have not talked to him. And it's true, I hadn't. And so I'm expecting to get a phone call, right, from somebody. And that was at like 9:30, 10 in the morning. And I'm at the house, no phone, no nothing. And I get a notification on email. And I had a reservation in my name at Bryant Hotel for that night. And no one called me. Nobody said anything. Hey, come over. Nothing. I just had an email with a reservation for the Bryant Hotel that night at that night. So I called my wife. I'm like, what do? I said, like, do I wait for somebody to call me or what's the deal here? It's like 3-hour drive or something like that, right? And so I was like, what do I do? And she's like, well, we're not doing it. I mean, it's spring break. You're not doing anything. She says, why don't you just go? See what happens. I said, might as well. So I put a suit together and put it in a car, and I drive. I got to the hotel at like 9:00. And so I haven't been there forever, so I don't know the current setup, but they used to have like a restaurant and then the front desk, and then you'd walk down the elevators or down on the left. Mm-hmm. I checked in the front desk. They're like, hey, Mr. Siskey, welcome, blah, blah, blah. I checked in the front desk. Before I got to the elevators, my phone rang, and it was Kevin Steele. And he said, hey, boy, you make it okay? I said, yes, sir. He goes, I'll see you in the morning at 8:00. That was it. And I went there and then went through the whole interview process. And then still to this day, probably I didn't realize it at the time. I do now. You know, I sat and talked to Coach Saban in his office for like 3 hours. Just me and him in the office for 3 hours, just talking about whatever, right? And he said, all right, he goes, what do we got to do to get a deal done? Like, what would you need? So we went through everything contractually. He's looking dead at me. Like, it makes me think he's got some damn security cameras or something in there, right? Like some recording. He didn't have a pen, a paper, or nothing. And we went through a lot of shit, okay? We went through a lot of shit about what I needed to contract and things like that. And I was like, okay. He goes, and this is kind of when I figured I had the job. He goes, hey, it was $257. I will never forget this. It was $257. I'd been in there since lunch. And he goes, all right. He goes, hey, we're going to practice right now. You want to come and watch practice? And I was like, there's no way he's letting me come watch practice if he thinks I'm not going to be here at Ole Miss, you know? And he goes, no. He goes, never mind. He goes, how long is it going to take you to get home? I said, about 3 hours. He looked at the clock and he goes, I'll tell you what. He goes, I'm going to call my money lady after I get done here. I'll call you at 6:00. And I was literally driving right by, going to my house. I was right by the inn at Ole Miss, and it hit 6:00, and he called me and offered me the job with the exact and the exact amount of money. And I asked for a ridiculous amount. It was no negotiation. He just offered me exactly what I wanted. And I got to think about it. Obviously, take the job. And I tell you all that to tell you this: the most impressive thing is, like, you don't sign your contract. You know, you don't have a contract when you get there. You have what they call an MOU. So a memorandum of understanding, and they put like the main details stuff that you sign so they can get you paid while they're working the contract. And in the order we discussed them, every detail was in a tab of, I mean, it was like 14 of them. Every single detail that we discussed was there. And there was nobody in there taking record of what we were talking about or nothing. It's like he had I think he had some AI note takers or something before AI or something. I don't know. But that was probably that was impressive. And then and when we were at the Sugar Bowl, he stood up. We got like 53 people on staff. He stood up and introduced every single staff member, their wife and their kids, all 53 with no note card. That was pretty impressive.
What? Real impressive.
Yeah, it was good.
Good. Siskey, though.
Just know that's impressive. I feel like people don't understand how impressive that is.
Oh, he's
all the knowledge he knows, and then just to randomly.
I don't know if he practiced it. I don't know what he did, but there was 0% chance. I was literally sitting there, like I was making the joke when he was getting around, because, you know, he's going to start with that time Kirby, and he's going to go down to this. And I'm sitting here going, I know I'm like 13th in line, right? 12th to 13th in line. And I literally know to my wife, I said, there's 0% chance he knows our kids' names. 0%. And he just rattled them off. My wife, where she went to school, made a joke about Auburn, and then
y'all talked about it.
What's that?
Had y'all talked
your
about
wife went to Auburn?
Yeah, my wife was a gymnast at Auburn.
Siskey went to Auburn.
I went to Auburn.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that. I just didn't. Well, yeah, okay.
Hey, one thing you didn't tell about the story: did the binoculars, was that part of the signing bonus, or did they come with you from home?
No, that wasn't part of it. Hey, Patty, you're double agent, man. You Ole Miss fans can't get over that shit.
No,
thank you.
I think that's also one of my favorite stories of Ole Miss fans not getting over is the.
I am so glad somebody recognizes him for being a double agent. Besides
he double agent. He double agent. Hey, Lou, you know what's terrible about the whole deal? You know what's terrible about that whole deal is they had a camera, like ESPN, I guess, had the, you know how they'll put the cameras in the press box?
Yeah.
Show you during the game.
Yeah.
Every single game in 2012 when I'm at Ole Miss. Every single game. Do you know who that guy, the second guy with the headset sitting right there stealing signals from everybody else? Do you know who that guy was? They didn't have a problem when I was doing it for
I
them.
didn't have a problem when you're doing it.
It was only against the rules when I did it at Alabama, though. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a problem for me doing it. It wasn't a problem when we caught Auburn blitzing it out of empty and we were able to get Jeff Scott the ball for a touchdown to win the game. That wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem then. It was only a problem in Alabama.
And I know we do this like an inside joke, and I've heard you say it so many times. I mean, I could do it for you, but we may have new people in here. I do find it hilarious as shit. But for the fans that don't know, Ole Miss lost their shit when Tyler went to Alabama.
I hear it still.
Do you really?
Yes.
The people being serious.
Yeah, no, I hear it still.
People are freaking
real.
And you told them, like, hey, you know who the real dumbass is? The guy that didn't change the plays from the time I was there.
Well, first of all, I don't call it stealing signals because I was the one that made them up to begin with.
Wait, so I'm stealing my own stuff, huh?
That it's not stealing. I'm just taking back what's mine.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Just saying.
No, that was for the fans that don't know the other side of it. Ole Miss fans losing their shit over
whoa, time out.
It was on Hugh Freeze. And I'm not going to go into the Freeze stuff. I know you hear that enough. But
someone just compared you to Connor Stallions, and I want to go ahead and squash that right now.
I was the OG Connor Stallions, except I didn't no, there's all kidding aside, the Connor Stallion stuff that everybody still signals. I mean, that it's 100%. Everybody does it. Everybody. And here's the thing that fans don't realize is that schools share information. Like you would be like, this is not a joke. Auburn would share information with us if we were playing team. Like people don't realize that. That would drive Tennessee, LSU. They all share information with Alabama. Okay.
Oh, no, you're gonna hurt some feelings.
I'm gonna hurt some feelings. I'm gonna hurt some feelings. There is literally not a single team in this league that hasn't shared information with Alabama on stealing signals. Not a single organization. That's Auburn, that's Tennessee, that's LSU, that's Georgia. They all do it. They share information back and forth about your opponents. Everybody knows everybody's signals. Now, the difference with Connor Stallions, the difference is, all right, now you go into a game and all that shit that he's doing, and that's a little much, okay? It was so unnecessary. Yeah. You got TV copies now. You don't even need need it.
My question is, why did he look so freaking creepy doing it?
Well, like, the could have blended in. Me is he act like he invented damn stealing signals, and I'm like, bruh.
Right.
I was like, I mean, when I came, it was 50 years old when I started. You know what I mean? It's like, but now going to the games and doing all that shit and dressing up on the side, that's a little over the top.
He was on the sideline in Central Michigan gear. And I'm like,
that's
like, okay, I get there's a point, but like,
yeah, that was a little bit much. But the stealing signals thing is, it's like when we played, and it didn't bite us, and Alabama fans will forget about it. But we played Colorado State with Jim McElwain in either 13 or 14, and coach didn't change any signals, offense or defense. And so you got the offensive coordinator over there. It's the same damn signals. And it was a close ass game it was a little uncomfortable for a long time.
Yes, it was. I was at that game.
It was an uncomfortable, like a 1-score game late. And we kind of opened it up on them, but they were all over our shit. But coach is like, and coach had a good point. He's like, I don't care if we tell them what we're playing run. If we can't win this game, we got bigger issues, But, that's the thing that people don't realize is like, even when there's so many times it has to be so right for it to work. I mean, you got to have time and you got to catch them in things and all this stuff. It's not as simple as like, hey, they're running inside zone to the left. I mean, I'll tell you this, we had every play. I knew every single play of the game, at Ohio State, every single play. And they ran through our ass like shit through a tin horn. We still hadn't stopped them.
Still not. I think the only time, and I've heard you tell that, and that's funny because that's the greatest story because y'all had the plays in it.
Every one of them.
The only time I've ever heard it working was the mastermind of them all was the Pirate Leach. Didn't he drop a dupe playlist on the field, like have a GM or a GA?
Yeah, our stuff, we had that, but we had their whole playbook. We had everything. That's what somebody sent us their playbook.
Then how the fuck did we stop them?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The shit's overrated, man. That's what people think. It's not down. It's players.
Goes back to your high school. It goes back to
when they're handing the ball off to prime Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, prime Ezekiel Elliott. I think in that game, going back to that game, I think the reason. I mean, one of our big things in that game was Reggie Ragland got hurt, got a concussion. I think that game, and that we were we were thin at backer that year, and he was such a staple on the inside. I mean, he was a beast. And us losing.
And we had slow ass dudes backing him up.
I don't remember who was back. I mean, I don't think they were bad. I mean, we had good players, but
no, they weren't bad. They just weren't Reggie.
Reggie was different.
Just weren't Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie was different. I mean, that's like CJ Mosley. CJ they don't make them. They don't. They broke the mold with them dudes. Rolando McClain, Reggie, and CJ and Ruben, and I mean, there's, they broke the mold with some of those guys.
Yeah, I feel like Ruben might have been a little bit different. I feel like the Greek gods kind of had an accident with somebody from hell, and then Ruben was created because that dude.
Ruben was kind of the first
people with the curiosity that I ain't never, and he didn't care.
Yeah, Ruben was a little bit of a different. He was kind of the first big acquisition of the new transition of defense, right? Because he wasn't the typical 3-4 backer. He could run. I mean, he was big. 230, whatever he was.
He wasn't a 6'3", 240.
He wasn't 240, 250 guy, right? Yeah. But he could run. And when he got there, he had bad intentions, right? So, but he was very instinctive, could run those things, and he was almost better being just an instinctive let him play guy than trying to teach him how to run fit. Just let him go see ball, hit ball. He was good.
And we haven't had a linebacker. Like the first linebacker I feel like we had in a couple of years was Jahad Campbell. And he didn't even really broach the level that Ryan Anderson and Ruben, Reggie, and all them, Sean Deion Hamilton, he didn't even broach that level of being a typical Alabama linebacker.
Well, I think offense has changed too, that kind of throw a wrench in what people's opinions are, because back then it was, everybody was two gapping up front and then letting run. When people got away from, like back then, that was traditional 3-4, right? You got a big nose that's two gapping and eating space for backers to go make plays. Now you kind of got away from that up front a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of bit. Nobody really two gaps hardly much anymore. And so that technique change up front kind of changed that position, and with the RPO world and everything we're in right now. It's just a stylistic change. It's not really. I think if those same guys you're talking about, if they played back then, you would have a different opinion of them. I think that style of play.
And I even tried to point that out with Marvin and Ruben being on the show together. I was like, y'all actually represent the two eras of linebackers. Marvin, you were the prototypical middle linebacker of the 90s SEC guy. Whereas Ruben, you've kind of fallen into this, the game's opened up to passing guys that can get more out in the lanes.
Yeah. Sean Deion, very instinctive, very intelligent player. But those smaller backers, and when you're just, it's a different scheme. I mean, even though it's the same scheme, you're playing it completely different, right? It's like,
but they all had the same attitude.
No, yeah,
and that's the attitude we've been missing. We haven't had a killer at linebacker.
But we don't know that because we haven't put them in the position to do it. It's not the same. It's totally different job than what it was. Back then it was you're reading guards pulling and you're feeling freaking A gap and shit, and you're doing your reads here. Now you're freaking, is he running it? Is he throwing it? I got to drop back underneath this glance. You're playing, the whole position has turned into a very passive position just based on your reads, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you're not downhill. It wasn't like, oh shit, they're running play action pass, let me just drop back here into my middle hook and wait for the ball to get thrown. It wasn't, and so it was so easy. I'm either going to kill somebody or I'm going to drop back in my zone, or, hey, let's get crazy and go cover one or blitz coverage. And I'm either blitzing or I got to back out of the backfield. Now it's damn RPO world, and you're so damn, they're doing 800,000 things trying to make reads and run fits.
What? Great breakdown. Someone even said it. Glad you're explaining this because so many people criticize the linebackers of today. And again, Ruben
Well,
and Lou, to your point too.
Who's
Ruben,
a badass? Who? Give me an example. Who is a bad? When was the last time? And I'm not talking about Alabama. Who's the last badass linebacker anywhere?
That came out of college?
Yeah. True backer. I'm not talking about these edge. I'm not talking about edge guys.
Honestly, middle linebacker?
Will Mack.
Probably
Will Mack.
No. He wasn't an inside linebacker. He's outside.
He's outside.
I'd probably say Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
There you go.
Realistically.
How long has that been? When was the last time he was at
9
Georgia?
years. 9 years. Almost 10 years.
Who's the kid they had at Mississippi? The Mississippi kid they had, the linebacker that they other middle linebacker. He's now with Philadelphia.
Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, Nakobe.
Yeah, but what did he do?
He was at Georgia. He wasn't nowhere near Roquan Smith level.
No, he wasn't. But my point of the drill is what happened about 9 years ago, Lou?
Yeah, you're right.
Tyler, please scream this louder for the people in the back. Everybody, like Saban was the head person saying, hey, guys, the game's changed. We're not going to have the defense that only gives up 6.3 points a game anymore because they don't allow it because differences of rules. Then we get midway through the season, and the defense had only probably given up 14 a game at this point.
Yeah,
but one game would get weird. You give up 40 points and like the defense is Saban don't know defense anymore. The defense is not the same.
Yeah.
And like he just told you the game's changed. And look, man, I know this is gonna ruffle feathers, but everybody hated on Pete Golden. But like you're not gonna have defenses that only give up 3 points a game anymore. It's not Oklahoma, Bob Stoops, Nick Saban 2010s. It just can't happen.
I hated Pete Golden because he screwed us on Drew Sanders.
You show me a good defense, I'll show you a team that on offense is a pro style, run the ball, huddle defense, huddle offense. Like when Kirby's had good defenses at Georgia, that's why he does what he does on offense. Okay, you got to make the choice, and Coach did. All right, Coach made the choice. If you're going to try it's turning an offensive game. The rules are too much in your advantage. So if you're going to score points, your defense is going to be on the field more. You're going to give up more points. It's just the nature of the beast. And it's not just because you're out there more, it's the way you practice, right? So, you're right, wrong, or indifferent. You can't be a spread tempo offense and go score a bunch of points and then bust everybody's ass on defense because you don't practice that way. Okay. And so, right, wrong, or indifferent. You spend 45 straight practices practicing against your own team. 15 in the spring and 30 in the fall, okay, before you see anybody. And you spend all these practice days, you practice against each other, all right? You only play the other team one Saturday a year. So 12 days a year, you're playing an opponent. The rest of the time that you learn how to play football, you're playing against your own team. So if you don't have an offense that can challenge you on those things, then you're going to naturally struggle when you see them. And I think that's what's driven Alabama fans nuts is because Alabama was pro style. They had Kirby there. If Kirby was the coordinator, if Pruitt was the coordinator, if whoever was the coordinator, if you decide to go tempo and run RPOs and score quick, you're going to have struggles on defense. And Alabama fans should be very upset at themselves about how they treated Pete Golden. I agree.
Crazy town. But, and man, one more thing I do want to throw into the Ruben, because Lou, to your point, you were talking about that. I heard Reuben Foster is part of Daniel Petty's entourage. Thoughts? Apparently, Reuben thinks I've been told now twice by Reuben Foster that I'm crazy. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I may need to get checked out. But Lou, something like you said something that kind of caught me, that he was created in the gates of the Hades, and that. Honestly believe that's true because he's such an anomaly. He said something that I didn't even know about him in the show earlier tonight that even blew my mind more about the fact that he just blew up Leonard Fournette. Reuben wasn't strong. I have benched more in my life than Reuben Foster, an NFL freak of a linebacker. Reuben, because we were Marvin. Marvin.
He's also got 33-inch arms.
No, Marvin's a freak of nature, but Ruben said, "Oh, I only benched 275. I wasn't a weight room warrior." And I'm like, "So what the hell? When you got on the field and turned into a whole different?" He said, "Yeah."
Ruben said he only benched 275.
He said on the show. Now, unless Ruben's crazy, he said I only benched 275, and I was like, "What? Huh?"
Cool. That would surprise me. I wouldn't have.
That blew my mind. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I feel like I would have known that. I think he's being humble.
He's definitely being humble.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true.
He said
That's not true.
I feel like that would have came up in conversation at some point.
Nope.
I'm going off. I'm taking it from the horse's mouth. This isn't here.
You can take it from the horse's mouth, but your boy, this guy, is an avid Alabama fan. He used to lift and work out with one Derrick Henry. And I can promise you this, Derrick Henry lifted way more than that shit. So the fact that he was able to work out with Derrick Henry,
that's great that you're not. He's actually Reuben Foster, though.
I understand that. But if you're working out in the same weight room as while Derrick Henry's working out, you're not just lifting 275 at bench. I don't give a damn what you say.
Maybe Reuben doesn't remember. Maybe
that's like people saying Derrick Henry just weighs like 235 pounds.
We're also talking about a guy that hammered lung darts at halftime to get his shit straight. You know, Reuben's a different animal. Like maybe he just turns it on. There's practice guys and there's game. I'm just going off. It blew me away too. Trust me. I expected him to say, I throw up
275, bro.
Just saying. It's
There's
shocking.
There's DBs that lifted. Like, nah, man.
Are you looking into some? Siskey looks like he's looking into some super Siskey index right now.
I'm looking to see what he did 225 at the combine.
He didn't do the combine.
Yeah, he went to the combine.
Yeah, that was the famous.
I thought he didn't run.
Oh, I got his time. He ran a 4.56.
It's part of it.
Okay, well, if he benched anywhere 15 to fucking 18, he benched more than 275.
Yeah, that would be. I just feel. I mean, maybe he did. I'm
telling you, it shocked me too.
That would be. I feel like that would have come up in conversation at some point in time by Cochran while we were there. I don't think that.
Hey, Reuben only does 275.
Yeah, that would have been.
Now wait a second. Are you saying he did 275 after his surgery? Is that what he was talking about?
I'm saying about 2 hours ago, Reuben himself, Foster, said, I only benched 275 pounds in college. I can't go off any more than that.
I mean, he's built like a damn brick house. So
I know.
This
is the guy that decleated Leonard Fournette. And he'll say, man, I felt it. But
that's not even his best hit. His best hit when he sent Deshaun Watson on a freaking merry-go-round. Deshaun was bigger than him. So you're gonna tell me he benched 275 in college? Like that's not.
I'll say this, man. I'll never forget when Patrick Willis went to the combine and Brady Quinn outbenched him. Shit happens. It gets weird.
Yeah, but he had a cowboy collar, man. Like that's.
A quarterback with a cowboy collar. I didn't mean to blow. I apparently blew everybody's mind.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I have blown the show. What do people won't predict? We don't do predictions on the show. We're predicting Bama to cover the spread. I'm now putting them in my parlay, and if not, I'm going to cuss Siskey. Guys, we have. It seems like every time we get you, Siskey, we get you late at night so we can keep you for like a Braveheart session. Guys, do y'all have anything else for Tyler? What questions do we have, Lou, coming out of the chat?
Oh, we got some. We got a lot of.
Any more fire?
All right, we're gonna run these chat questions real quick.
All right.
Dirt Road Bigfoot. That's a hell of a name right there. I almost sound like something on an OnlyFans account. With all these transfers, what does that tell the rest of the team?
I mean, it's a necessity now, right? I mean, it's just the world. I don't know if it tells them anything. North Carolina's got. I mean, there's several teams that have over 70 new players, right? So I know we're making a big deal about 20, was it 26 or whatever they got?
Yeah.
23.
That's light, in today's football. I mean, you got North Carolina's got over 70. My boy Rich Rod up at West Virginia's got like 70 something, 80 something new players. It's just the world we live in, and you got a chance to, when you look at Florida State's case, and they went to the portal last year unsuccessfully. So hell, you don't want them. I mean, if you're at Florida State, you don't want them guys sticking around. You want to go some other ones, right? So it's just the world we live in. But I don't know if it says anything to the rest of the team. It's just it kind of is what it is these days.
Christian Love. Hey, Siskey, can you explain to the people why you don't throw a hitch in a cover 2?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you who can't answer that question. That would be Jalen Milroe. Don't ask Jalen Milroe. He does not know the answer.
Oh, my God.
Oklahoma says hello.
Yeah,
but I'm the bad guy for saying he should be a running back.
Hey, I thought we were about honesty on here.
We are.
Oh,
Okay.
100%. I loved everything you just said.
Okay.
There's a reason that a 17-year-old had 17 targets in a game because somebody couldn't get to their second progression. Jeff Stapleton, FSU. And I'm going to go back to this. Go back to the Wisconsin game in the fourth quarter. You want to see the only time that DeBoer's offense got ran right all year? It's the fourth quarter of the Wisconsin game when Ty actually took over and they ran the offense because Wisconsin was still trying. I'm going to die on that damn hill until we see it in about 4 days. All right, go back. Jeff, sorry, I'm off my soapbox. What was Jeff saying? Oh, there was another one. I didn't do that one, did I? Jeff Stapleton, FSU O-line is mostly built up of transfers, so it will take them time to gel now. Our players decided to not transfer. I think that gives our team an advantage. Is that a question or a thought? Or are you high? Or am I high?
I think I know what he's talking about. Does it give them an advantage because you got retention? Yeah, I think any kind of retention you get, it gives you an advantage at some point. But again, you don't know. Maybe they come out and look like the greatest O-line ever. It's not a very complicated offense to learn from an offensive line standpoint, but you still got to work together. I think you'll see Kane on defense. I think you'll see just what Florida State's doing. If you got a young offensive line, he's going to test them early, and do some stemming and what you can do, the legal stemming you can do now. Now we've gotten to where we got to get defensive guys lined up. We can't move around, but I think he's going to do some things, try to confuse them with their assignments, and particularly in protections. You'll probably see a ton of simulated pressures coming on Saturday.
Good stuff. God bless, man. Always bringing them heat, Siskey. All right. Tough as nails. DeBoer staff is experienced. Special teams is a question mark. A lot of people are worried about the special teams.
Brother, I can't. It's like against my religion to talk about kickers. So next question.
Thank you.
Look, man, you got one job, and I love them. I got Lawrence Tynes, one of my good friends, but you got one job. There's a yellow upside down H down there. Go put that motherfucker in between it. Do that. That's your job.
There you go. My God. Chris Williams. I love Florida State so much it hurts. Chris is our resident Auburn fan. He wanted you to tell an Auburn story, Tyler.
Auburn story?
Any with Tuberville?
No, I'm you talking about Governor?
Wait.
Governor
Time out. We're not telling no fucking Auburn story on this network. This is Alabama.
I met my wife there.
Auburn.
I met my wife there.
That's a great story. You could tell that story, but about
that's the story. I met my wife there.
Okay. There we go. That's about all we're going to take from Auburn.
She was a gymnast. I did well for myself.
Oh.
Hey.
Now,
I'm a 3-time world champ too, Lou. How about that? 3-time.
Okay.
3-time world champ, baby.
That's right.
Hey, that's something right there. But what we're not going to do on this network is take any stories about anything that happened in Tennessee. That's not going to happen.
Tennessee? I got good Tennessee stories. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, well, that depends. Your Tennessee stories are on our side. I'm not saying you.
I really don't. I don't have any Tennessee stories.
It's just not a good place.
Just give you shit.
It is absolute. Oh, hold on. Jeff Stapleton, since Jam is out, who do you think will step up Saturday? Man,
are we telling the truth on this show, or are we going to be nice? Which one do you want? You want truth or you want nice?
Tell the truth right now. I'm telling the truth.
Jam is average as grits. I don't know what all the fuss is about.
Well, thank you.
I think
Let's
Dre
let-
Washington's going to be the name people know by the season. I mean, I think he.
We talk about linebackers. You can tell you what's different is the running back room in Tuscaloosa.
Don't look like he used to. What do you think about? I mean, is Daniel Hill, Richard Young, any of those guys, A.K. Deere? I mean, do we know anything?
Behind that offensive line, I think I could go for 4.3 at 47.
We just signed you, Siskey.
I mean, and look, I get it. But Alabama fans acting like this guy's down. That Derrick Henry's out. I mean, what are we doing?
He ain't Mark Ingram. Like everyone's like,
real
Jam
talk.
was out.
I had this conversation with somebody, a Bama friend of mine the other day. In the best year, okay, what's the best he would ever be? And it's been like this probably since Najee left, right?
Right.
Let's go Najee backwards. What's the highest he would be on the depth chart?
Oh, 5.
Who?
What are we
Jam?
talking about? Yeah. What's the
4
highest he'd be on
at
depth chart? What are we talking about? Well, who cares?
We're not.
I mean, I'm sure he's a great kid. And I'm sure he's nice and he's a solid football player, but he's not. I mean, what are we doing?
See, and that's what I like. Me and Dan told people this in the spring. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, Jam Miller's going to be the incumbent." We're more excited about the younger guys because they actually have upside. We've seen what Jam can do.
Well, it's not. I mean, I'm not shitting on him as far as like he's a shitty player, but let's don't act like damn Derrick Henry got hurt either. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, let me play devil's advocate a little bit then. So we're really confident Bama's going to go in and roll Tallahassee by 13.5, but I'm hearing now that does the running game not matter in that?
All right. So, but my point is this: is that whether it's Jam or whether it's the number 2 guy or number 3 guy, the production level is not going to drop off enough where it makes a difference. That's my point.
The offensive line is going to do it regardless.
If Derrick Henry went down, okay, there may be a little. I mean, and look, I'll say this. Okay, it's like, when was the last time when I was there? Okay, when I was there, it went T.J. Yeldon, Kenyon Drake, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, God rest his soul, Alti Tenpenny, and then Tyron Jones. Okay. When those guys left the next year, then we brought in this guy named Bo Scarborough and Damian Harris. And then when he left, there's this guy named Brian Robinson that comes through. Like these guys were just stacked. Najee Harris, just boom, boom, boom.
Josh Jacobs.
It's just boom, boom.
Josh
boom.
Jacobs.
When was the like those guys? Like, there's not, in my opinion, there's not no one on this roster has yet proven that they can be anywhere in that of those guys I just named. Where does any of these guys stack? Guys that are true game breakers that will change your production. When you lose a guy, it's not, you're losing a body and it hurts depth wise. Do not get me wrong, but it's not going to affect the outcome of because the guys in the second, there's not a drop off. They're kind of the same guys.
And that's kind of why it's running back by committee for the most part, right?
Yeah. You know what that means when somebody says running back by committee? You know what that's code for? We don't have a dude. That's
That's kind of what I thought, man.
Everyone's acting like Jahmyr Gibbs just got hurt. We don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs in our fucking running back room anymore.
No,
we don't have that level of talent.
No,
and I think that people want to no matter what the recruiting stars say, and people want to put on our running backs, we don't have anybody like that in our locker room that can literally change the preface of a game that has shown this far that they can do it.
No,
we just don't have it.
And it's not, but that's not like, but all right, let's go back to the whole thing. It's going back to the style of play. Okay. It's kind of like, all right, think about running backs. Okay. Who are the top running backs in the country right now? How many of them are you see what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like linebackers, right? Is the overall, there's a reason why there are running backs on your fantasy league. That's like, who the hell is this guy again? Like there's a reason the game has changed a little bit, right? To where nobody really, now the teams that do, they got them. Like you wonder, it doesn't show up at Georgia. You're like, well, they want to try to run the ball a lot and they want to get downhill and they want to shorten games. You're like, hey, they may not have a guy or Florida or things like that. Like, but you don't have premier running backs like you used to. And when you do have them, look at the style. Who was the best running back in the country last year?
I guess
she was runner up for the Heisman Trophy.
Jendi.
All right. What kind of offense did they run at Boise? Who's the second best running back in the country last year? And probably going to be, I'd say, early favorite to be the best one. Love at Notre Dame. What do they do on offense?
A lot of running.
And so the style of play affects that, right? And so if you're going to be, and if you're at, I mean, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but we're getting to a point in time in roster building that you got to decide, am I going to go get some receivers or am I going to get some running backs?
Yeah.
It's hard to get both. How's Georgia's wide receiver room been looking lately?
Rough.
Lately, they ain't had a wide receiver since freaking AJ Green.
Why? Well, they had Pickens.
Oh, I know why. Pickens.
Well, technically, they've had a bunch. They're just the Clark County Sheriff's Department kind of took charge a little bit. But they've had a few. But you got to make a choice, right? It's very difficult in today's world. Am I going to pay running backs or am I going to pay? It's
gotta make a choice.
game. It's a roster building game.
Defense attorney or pay skill players.
Yeah, and so look, I think he's a good player. I'm not saying he's a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but we also got to remember that it's not like you're losing massive production.
Right.
No, we still won.
I told we're telling the truth today.
We
won 9 games last year with our running backs playing second fiddle to our quarterback running the ball. So
I think, real talk, I think that had a lot to do with that. May have hurt his development too, right? As the best running back we had quarterback last year, and so how much does that affect? And if you're trying to get your quarterback involved in the running game, okay, which rightfully so they should have, okay, like he should be involved in running game. You're not doing a lot of downhill runs. You're doing a lot more inside zone, a lot of perimeter runs for reads and things like that for the track of the quarterback. So, there's a lot of that being said, but they're going to have to get downhill and go.
Well, there's a lot to be said about that because you go back and look at the numbers. They were trying again. Milroe took a bulk of the runs, but there was no continuity between Justice Haynes or Jam Miller. They get 6 or 7 carries a game. There was no getting in any kind of rhythm. Like you said, there was no development, and it was very argy-jerky. Jeff Stapleton, we had a good discussion on Bam Dam Sports. Should the OC – this is a good question for you, Siskey. I saw this earlier. I'm glad this got popped up. Should the OC be in the booth or on the sidelines, and they've got tablets now that they've got tablets to go by play-by-play?
Yeah, I think it's all based on the coordinator, what they want to do. If I call plays, I'd rather be in the booth. And some people see it better on the field. It depends on your operation. I've seen coaches want to be on the sideline. I've seen coaches it's all preference on the play caller. I don't think it's not about where he should be or shouldn't be. It's based on how he can function. For me, I would rather be the way I like to call play. I'd rather be in the booth to see everything. When I was on the field, like I would. This is going to go over where everybody's head, but you can't see the whole field. So in the headset, I'm listening to whoever, whether it be it's usually like the offensive line quality control guy or the tight ends coach. They would tell me the front because you can't see, like you can see there's 3 down or you can see there's 4 down, but you can't see techniques from the side. So they would tell me over, under, split, odd, whatever it was, right? And they would tell me that. I would look at the corner, the nickel, the closest backer, whether it be the nickel or the wheel, okay, and both safeties. And I would look through those guys, and I would watch those 4 guys move. How those 4 guys moved told me, and I already knew the front, I could visualize and know what the other 7 guys were doing. So, like, I know that, okay, this guy went, this guy dropped, this one went to the middle. They're in odd stack. That means they ran and they're playing man free on the outside. They went nickel hammer man free. I knew through study I could watch those 4 guys and tell you what the defense was doing. And so, but I would rather see the whole picture for me.
That's what I feel like would be better. I've always thought that's the logical. And with the pads and stuff, you got coaches on the sideline. You can let them handle that stuff. The bigger question, Sissy, is would you rather be a first down coach, a second down play caller, third down, or fourth down?
Yeah, a lot of people. That was interesting. He can't do anything right now. He can't breathe right now. They're on him about everything. I don't think the fans understand that he had to say that for contractual purposes. I don't think.
Because the coaches that.
Yeah. I'll put it like this. I can assure you there's one guy calling plays there.
I
can assure you that.
I swear, man, you are right, man. He's in a place right now where, God, you better win because everything you say is being almost weaponized.
We talked on the show the other day is like they're going to lose a game. And whenever it happens, it's going to be
chaos.
God, just Twitter's going to be on fire. Lou will be right there in the middle of them.
I think Lou hates the orange up north more than he does the orange down south. Am I wrong about that, Lou?
As far as who do I hate more?
The orange and Rocky Top versus the orange and
orange.
Oh,
absolutely. It goes without saying. And
really?
And I want everybody to hear this.
Hell, I think you may hate
a public statement. I hate the entire Manning family.
Whoa, now. Hold on now.
Yeah, that's a shot fired.
Hey, they're good people, man. They're good dudes, man.
Hey, they're good dudes, but guess what? This is a free country. It's freedom of damn speech, and I can hate whoever the hell I want.
You wouldn't hate him if you met them.
I would.
They're actually it's refreshing, real talk.
Van, here we go again.
Part two.
Refreshing how humble they are.
Here's the thing, Siskey. I'm not the normal type of dude here. When I hate somebody, I don't care if they're Mother Teresa when I meet them, it's not going to change my opinion. I hate them for a reason, and that's not going to change what they do.
Why do you dislike the first family of football?
You shouldn't hate anybody.
First of all, they ain't the first family of football.
Oh, the first family of football is the Good family. You walk it back, Petty.
On a front yard, I will meet you on any front yard and fight you about that. They ain't the first family of shit.
They're the first family of football.
The Good family.
Petty. I will show up on your front yard tomorrow morning and we will fist fight about this shit. Ain't no way.
Hey, they're really good dudes, though.
That's fine. They might be really good dudes. I don't give a shit.
They're good dudes.
That's fine.
What about Dabo? Where does he? To answer your question, Jeff,
the same sentence. The same sentence.
What is wrong with you, Lou?
Dabu.
I'm being real, Siskey.
Lou, what is wrong? Did they touch you in a dream or something?
No, I just hate who I hate.
Dabo's a good dude. That's hashtag America right there.
Not to me, he's not.
He's America's coach.
Really? So America's coach lets his players finger people in the butt?
God almighty.
That ain't America's coach, bud. America's coach picks his nose on freaking national TV. That ain't America's coach. I got receipts. There's reasons I hate every single one of these dudes, and it ain't finna change. I don't care if these dudes give $10 million to the damn homeless. Lucian Graves is gonna hate you for life. That ain't something that wears off. Because I'm old school and I live by a code. If I hate you, it ain't gonna change. I'm a real one. I'm gonna tell you I hate you to your face.
Lou, you out of pocket.
I mean, I might be out of pocket, but I also went somewhere and served the sentence twice to earn that shit. So
love it.
Yeah.
Love it, Lou.
And I'll say to this day, because
I'm coming to Ohio, I'm taking you to church.
Churches burn when I go inside them. I'm a devil. There's a difference to what I am. Listen, there's a reason I don't like them. And y'all might not understand it, and y'all might not ever will. But there is a definite reason why I don't have any respect for not near no one in that family. Yeah, and we can talk about it once we get to the green room.
Dabo in there with the Mannings. I mean, come on, man. Dabo's hashtag America's coach.
He's not.
He is America's team.
Just like the Cowboys are America's team, right?
No, Clemson's America's team.
To who? I live in America and Clemson ain't shit.
That's the only game we disagreed on. I'm taking Clemson over LSU.
Huh? You taking Clemson to beat LSU?
I'm taking Clemson.
I didn't. That's the only team I said this year I'll root for in orange. I said that's the only team. That's the only time you'll ever see me root for an orange team is when they play LSU.
That's gonna be that's probably going to be the best game of the weekend. That's one I can't.
Here's why I
shaking up.
agree. I think the newness of LSU's offensive line could get exposed and get Nussmeier rustled a little bit with that defensive front at Clemson.
Well, that's LSU's path to victory, right? Is they have to find a way to Clemson's going to have a huge advantage on the defensive front and the offensive front.
Hey,
and so they got to be able to neutralize.
Garrett's not making it at a halftime.
What's that?
Garrett's not making it at a halftime. Clemson's been talking too much.
Hey, Lou.
LSU been talking too much shit.
Lou, now look.
TJ Parker gonna have a ball.
Family, Lou. I know he's Bengal Tiger, but Nuss is family. Just letting you know now that I'm kind of biased on Nuss because that's my guy.
Nuss is balling.
I've known him since he was ye-hided a grasshopper.
Nuss is a baller and can make every throw. I question though if he's getting harassed. The offensive line.
That's fine, but TJ Parker and Peter Woods and company are a different freaking story. They better get back there fast in less than 2.2 seconds.
Yep.
I have no doubts in it.
That in Ohio State, Texas, man. There's some I tell you what, man.
Take the under in that game.
Huh?
Take the under in that game. There ain't gonna be a score in that game.
I think the defenses and the new quarterbacks it's gonna be.
Yep.
There you go.
The under in that game.
Julian?
I'll tell you two scary games in this league this week.
I got one.
All right.
It's one of the orange teams that Lou loves so much. Is that
it?
Them
Tennessee Vols better have their shit strapped.
That's not a scary game.
About Syracuse. I took Syracuse in my pick 'em before you ever said that.
Fran's a hell of a coach. I mean, a hell of a coach. And he is, he was at Georgia with Kirby. Now he's up at Syracuse. They're also orange, by the way, Lou. They're actually called the Syracuse
Orange Men.
Yeah, they're the orange.
I don't like them either. Carmelo Anthony went there. I don't like them either.
So, but they have a really good team.
I don't like
Fran's a hell of a coach. And Tennessee better buckle it up. I'm not. And look, this kid could come out and win the Heisman Trophy. He could. Okay. Again, I live in reality. Okay. I think Tennessee fans are really emotional about this Nico thing, and they're trying to talk themselves into this kid being a really good quarterback until he shows me at this level. And he may win the damn Heisman Trophy. Okay. But I can't look at him and go, okay, this is the same quarterback that a year ago at Appalachian State went 5-6 as a starter. That's going to go to Tennessee, and all of a sudden he's going to be better than Nico. Because if I reverse the roles, and I know all the Tennessee fans like to shit on Nico because he left them and all that stuff. It's the same thing with Notre Dame fans and Brian Kelly. It's the same thing with Oklahoma fans and Lincoln Riley. When you get left at the altar, you immediately start talking shit about that. It's the same thing with double agent with y'all and Quinshawn Judkins. Okay? All right, it's the same thing. And so when you leave them, all of a sudden they suck. Okay, but if I reverse the roles and I put Nico at App State, I bet you he wins more than 5 games as a starter.
I question, and you're hearing Tennessee fans. So when he's got the Brett Favre mentality, I'm like, guys, calm down. This is a new offense. That's an interesting game. That the orange match up there.
D-picks? He's sending D-picks?
I was thinking late game interceptions.
I couldn't hear you there.
I didn't say Barbara's off-field stuff, but man, there you go. You heard it here first.
I was in the locker room. He sent that, Petty.
What?
He was in the locker room when he sent that.
Who are you talking about?
Favre.
Brett Favre.
The other one, the sneaky game is Virginia Tech and South Carolina.
Okay, that's another one. I had that in my parlay, but I was going to put Bama in it because I got Virginia Tech. But I'm thinking,
I'm not. It's a stay away game for me, right? But South Carolina, since Beamer's been there, he's really struggled in openers for some reason. I mean, last year everybody wants to talk about how awesome South Carolina was last year, and I mean they were a breath away from losing the Old Dominion last year, right? In the opener, they've just never done well in the openers. And then you're adding on this Virginia Tech storyline to it where, emotional. And again, it's not Saturday, he'll be fine. It's the leading up part and the prep part. Do you over prepare? It's those things that kind of like it kind of neutral site, kind of.
And don't get me wrong, Tyler, and answer this. Everybody's so enamored, and rightfully so, with how spectacular Lenoris looked in his first year, how good he can run, how great Dylan Stewart is, but they're not paying attention to the fact that the three dudes next to Dylan Stewart are now in the NFL.
Yeah, they're replacing 6 of their front 7. The only one coming back is Dylan Stewart. Now, he's a good one to have back, right?
Oh, he's a great one to have back, but you're also losing a first-round cornerback.
Well, you had a safety. You had a safety who was a first-round safety. Now, the other 3 guys that are back, they're really good. Okay. So the 4 guys that they got back are really good. But people don't remember is that defense carried them for a large portion of the season until Sellers could kind of, get his feet wet. And like he's got improving to do too now, right? It's like he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal runner of the football. But you look at him and Lagway, they're kind of, I see them. Lagway is, I kind of put them both in the same class. They have a lot of, and you can put Marcel Reed in this category. All 3 of those guys, when they are just forced to be athletes, okay, the pocket breaks down and they start moving around and they have to throw off balance. They are as naturally gifted as you've ever seen. But when they are forced to be a pocket passer, it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, and they got to get balanced and they got to drive off their back foot and they got to keep their front side closed. They really struggle accuracy wise because they're trying to be robotic and do the fundamentals, but it just never caught on. So all 3 of those guys got a lot of improvement to go there to be a better passer. And the good news is all 3 of them are arm talented enough to do it. It's going to come with reps.
I think that's going to be look, 7.5 is a lot. I don't see how that's not a 1-score game or something that doesn't go dirty down to the end. It screams that to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe South Carolina is what everybody thinks they are in the media preseason, but I don't know if anybody's taking notes or keeping score at home. So far, we've got Tyler giving Alabama the national title and Tennessee losing in week 1 to Syracuse. Chalk it up, Bama fans. It's a hell of a night.
Wow, that's strong. I'm already on that.
Talk about twisted.
Might as well. I mean, the Ole Miss fans think. I mean, I just because I agree with Lane Kiffin, I guess I'm evil.
What? Because he's trying to tell everybody calm down on the Simmons kid. He might not be the next coming at the age of 19.
Yeah, your double agents. They're gonna be okay this week, I think.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, it's not gonna be a breeze now. But I think they'll be okay. I think they got some issues on the offensive line. They got some issues in the backfield, and
that could spiral if you've got a freshman getting hit and the word out of camp he's eyeing down receivers and that offensive line's breaking down. Once you get in SEC play, it's going to get real quick.
Yeah, he is. I'll say this: he's probably the most arm talented quarterback to ever play there, and that's including Lou's first family football that he cares so much about. I think he's the most arm talented quarterback to ever come through there. With that being said, he's got, he will, like, if you go watch him, like the games that he got in, he made some of the most unbelievable throws ever, but they were ill-advised throws.
Yes.
Right. So, your double agent people, you're putting all your hopes and dreams off of one drive in the Georgia game.
Yeah.
What people don't want to talk about in that game is he had a ball batted down that was going the other direction for 6 points.
Yeah.
He got batted down to the line of scrimmage and the corner was gone. He had already broken, and then he fit one in a window between 3 guys that ball should have never gone there. Yeah. But he puts the ball. He's got. He can do it too. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like this is one thing you got to be really careful. You don't want to take that away from him because that's what he's good at, right? So it's kind of, you may be living by the sword and dying by the sword too at the same time a little bit. He's going to make mistakes, but the dude is a freakazoid arm talent wise. I mean, I'm talking about like it's different.
Well, when you say, look, hot take, when you're saying the best arm talent on that campus history, I don't think that's beating a Manning out. I actually think that's beating Chad Kelly out. I think Chad Kelly was the best arm. Chad Kelly could spin it, man. I know he's an idiot.
He couldn't throw a better Matt Corral.
Oh, really? Corral had he spun it better than
Matt had a much better arm talent. Matt Corral is he's one of the best arm talent kids I've ever seen in my life.
It's interesting. Okay, man. Now look, we've gone way off. Lou is on a. He just booked plane tickets to come down here and choke me because we've gotten so far off the Crimson route. So
No, I didn't, because Siskey just said that Manning wasn't the best ever at that school, so I'm good.
He's good. So we're back on.
down.
Now we're back on track.
He's good.
Calm down. But that's that invitation is still open. I will meet you at whatever lawn you want, and we can go to war about that.
About the first family of college football.
Who is the first?
Yeah.
Lou, who's your first family in football?
The first family of football?
Yeah, if it's not the Mannings, who is it?
I mean, if I'm being realistic, you have to go with the family that has the most NFL people in it. And I feel like there's more families that have more NFL members than the Mannings.
Who's got more Super Bowl titles?
I mean, Brady does by himself, but you don't want to get into that argument with me again.
Please, God.
I feel like I held my own.
Please, God, put Peyton Manning on the Patriots, and he has every one of those titles.
And by the way, just for you two, I did look up the stat that I was thinking I was right about, and I'm absolutely right about. Just so you know,
Tyler, you're being privy to a war that happened the other night on our pregame show about the Mannings have already been touched, and Lou was ready to shoot all of us on Sunday. Yes. How about this?
I don't shoot people. I'm old school. I got hands. I'll put my hands on you. And all y'all know how big I am.
Dirty, Lou. You know enough about me.
I know you're not, but I'm saying I will. I stood on my sit and I looked it up and I was right. You might have one argument, but he's still not the top tier. He was like number 5 that year.
What were we talking about? What was the stat?
That Tom Brady played with top tier receivers every year he won the Super Bowl.
Oh, no,
that wasn't a discussion. We were talking about 07 when he lost to Eli Manning.
No, the conversation.
You said he did not have good receivers, and I said you're acting like Randy Moss didn't exist.
I said top tier, and he didn't win a Super Bowl. I don't
give a damn. Dan Marino didn't win a Super Bowl either. Was he not a good quarterback?
You don't think Randy Moss was a good receiver because he didn't win a Super Bowl?
That wasn't the conversation, Siskey. The argument was, did Tom Brady win a Super Bowl with top tier receivers? The answer is no, he did not.
Was Gronk? What do we call? What are we putting?
Gronk was top.
Huh?
They did it. They did it weird. They've always done it weird.
They did it weird, but they developed that talent into something. Yeah, yes, Brady played into that.
Top tier receiver. And every year they had it. The only one that was close was Julian Edelman, and he had at most 6 touchdowns.
Well, you can almost say the same thing about Peyton though, because he didn't. All he had was Reggie Wayne. Yeah. That's the only one he had, and then
Marvin Harrison.
Eli didn't have any in New York.
Eli didn't have shit.
Thank you.
I would say that I would argue that Peyton Manning had.
That wasn't the argument. The argument I was making was that Tom Brady did not have top tier NFL wide receivers.
Well, you mean to piss them all off, Lou? You mean to piss them all off? Tom Brady's not the best to ever play either.
No.
The best to ever play the position is Aaron Rodgers.
I would agree with that. From a pure ability standpoint, he's the best.
He's the best to ever throw football.
John Elway.
Nope. It's Aaron Rodgers and then it's Dan Marino, but Elway's probably 3.
Nope.
Who is?
No,
Brady. I'm not. Brady is Joe Montana part 2. And if Joe Montana is the greatest ever, then explain how Steve Young. I mean, the greatest ever. There's supposed to be a drop off. There wasn't with Steve Young. He was all Bill Walsh, and I'll go into the whole Steve DeBerg argument. And that's why I say you could put either Manning at New England, and they have all the titles that Brady does.
I don't think so.
I do,
because there's something about getting picked on being forgotten, off having that chip on your shoulder that a Manning don't know about. A Manning don't know about having a chip on his shoulder like Tom Brady does. A Manning don't know about that shit.
I would actually, Lou, I'd put this to you. With the pressure, I will tell you the one thing for me, even with Arch, and he hasn't even done anything yet, but to even get to where he's at now, when you grow up with the pressure that they had on them to be who they supposed to be, and to end up being, both of them are in the Hall of Fame. I mean, and like, think about this. How many pros kids turn out to be good players?
It doesn't happen very often.
Sanders.
It's pretty rare.
One of the greatest of all times got two that are struggling right now to make rosters.
But it's so difficult for that. And to even get to that level says something about their makeup.
I'm not impressed.
Wow.
I'm not impressed.
Wow.
Off a league that was off a league back then that was basically guaranteed their success when they came into the league. I'm not impressed.
How was their success guaranteed when Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions his rookie year?
Yes, it did.
And let's talk about weapons. Let's go through Eli's weapons. One of his best weapon was a kind of a washed up dude that shot himself in the leg, and Jeremy Shockey, who was batshit crazy. And at the end,
I already told you.
Like, I do think Tom Brady. I do think Tom Brady's great, but we also have to remember that the one thing we have to remember about Tom Brady, okay, is when he became Tom Brady and when he got his shot to be a quarterback, that team was already going to a Super Bowl.
Yes.
So Drew Bledsoe was going to win the title with that team.
And the Giants weren't.
Drew Bledsoe, if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt,
The Giants wasn't.
Matt Castle.
Come on, man.
Dude, the Giants fought from the wild card game all the way to the Super Bowl.
That was the best run in football history.
Come on, man.
The best run in football history was the Giants road run.
I don't even like the Giants. You're making me defend them right now.
Tampa Bay.
I'm not making you do shit.
You're making me defend
San
them.
Francisco.
I'm not making you defend nothing.
Tell me this, though. Do you think Matt Castle could have gone in for Eli if Eli would have went down and gone on that run with the Giants like he did New England? Just wondering. Just curious.
Yeah, Matt Castle with what? 10 straight games. He got a fat contract, didn't even start in college.
I wonder if Matt Castle could have been a Colt and backed up Peyton and done what Peyton did. I'm just curious.
I said what I said, and I'll stand on it.
Love it.
Hey, people try to blow me off this planet the last 20 years, and I'm still here. So go ahead and try. I ain't moving off my opinion.
This is my rock.
Fuck them dudes. And I'll say it to their face. Fuck them dudes.
I believe you, brother.
Because I look them in the eye. Fuck you. Real talk.
Love it.
That's how much I hate Tennessee, and that's how much I hate Ole Miss. This is an Alabama show. This is Bama Nation. If you ain't wearing crimson, in the words of Malachi Moore, fuck you.
Hey, you don't. Hey, you're not a double agent either, are you, Luce?
Ain't no double agent in Luke.
I got a giant elephant tatted on my arm. Ain't no double in me, bro.
Hey, who you pulling for next year when Alabama plays Ole Miss, Petty?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. If he pulls for fucking Ole Miss, he's gonna get a visit from Luke.
Let's see TV. Are you gonna recuse yourself from the shows that week?
No, I'll be on them. I mean, I can be honest about them, but I don't. If people here haven't figured it out by now, there's like the red and blue come first.
Oh wow!
Oh,
I'm an Ole Miss. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if that's a shocker to y'all. I have a helmet right here signed by all the guys we're talking about. It's got the dad, both brothers. I've got a big helmet here that was stolen off the sideline by one of my Alabama Sigma Chi buddies. This came off the sideline of an Alabama Ole Miss game. Guys, I love y'all, but
hey, did I see that right? Is that helmet signed by the First Family of Football?
By the First Family, and I'm going to send it off to Arch to get him to add to it.
Lou just over there bullying.
He's on his way to get. I'll see Lou tomorrow. He's going to be in my front yard and he's going to choke me out.
You haven't met me in person yet.
I'm trying to hide and keep it.
Hey, do you remember what Matt and Chris said when they met me in person?
Yeah, you're bigger than all them fuckers. Lou, by the way, Lou looks like a middle linebacker. If you've never, Siskey, the screen don't do justice. The dude's like 6'5".
No,
Lou's a beast.
6'3", about 270.
He showed up to when we all went out. I didn't make it that trip, and they thought he was the football player.
Tell him, Lou, you stand on business.
And not to mention, I did 2 tours. I did 2 tours in different countries, so I'm different. When I say I hate you, and it ain't gonna change. And I don't give a damn if there's an Ole Miss guy a Manning guy on the panel. I'll tell you if his mom on the panel, if his girlfriend on the panel, if their daughter on the panel. Fuck you. This is Bama, and we don't fuck with the Mannings.
You putting the kids in there too?
Hell yeah.
Well, they come
Root
on.
and stem. Root and stem.
How would you have handled if Saban would have pulled it off? Because you know it was razor thin. Ole Miss wasn't in it for Arch. It was
Petty.
Texas,
Do you not remember
Georgia, and Bama.
Well, that's a good question.
How would you have handled if Nick Saban would have pulled off?
That's a good question, Lou. That's a fair question, Lou. That's a fair question.
Well, I'll answer it like this. How did I handle fucking Saban retiring on my fucking birthday? Exactly. Not well. Not fucking well. So no, I wouldn't have handled that well.
Hey, Lou, what if Arch goes to Alabama and he wanted to have a weekly appearance with you on the final whistle?
It would never happen. Saban's not that stupid.
But he retired and now they let them all play. I let them all talk.
Kalen DeBoer's not that stupid. He beat Texas.
Moonrocket.
He beat Sark once.
Moonrocket's all good, buddy. I know my place in this world. I think the overall record's like 52 and like 9. And half those wins have come only when the Manning's on the sideline for the Rebels. And I don't think we're going to get one of those anytime soon again. So you're good. Ole Miss knows their place in that little rivalry. Not even
it's a rivalry against me and the first family of football.
Well, we got what we came for. A fired up Lou.
Yes.
Put that on, man. Put that on the t-shirt.
I got that written down. How to jar up Lou. Talk about the Mannings. I got that.
Talk about the Mannings.
That's all you got to do. You say something about somebody in orange or bring up any Manning story, and I will be ready to fight you. I don't give a damn.
The Bengals were orange. You like the Bengals?
I hate the Bengals too.
Who's your pro team?
The Raiders.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I win that all the time.
Coop's going.
Hey, that might. Hey, you could be sorry, but now you understand a little bit more about me. Why I am the way I am. I don't give a damn how much we suck. I'm gonna fight you.
Hey, you ain't gotta apologize to me, boss. I'm fucked up as a soup sandwich.
I mean, I don't understand why these guys are pumping the Eli Manning thing. One's an Alabama fan, the other he just doesn't count because he's a double agent.
You made me defend it,
and not to mention, this dude hasn't even seen Star Wars, so his fucking opinion really doesn't count in a lot of shit.
Van, you never seen Star Wars?
No, sir, I haven't.
I don't.
Thank you.
We could go. Y'all, how much longer y'all want to go on all this? You want to talk about travesty? My double agency.
Thank you, Siskey. Finally, somebody says it to this man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a Star Wars fan or like avid, but like I watch it. I've seen it.
Yeah, I grew up with a blue collar dad, man. He didn't watch Star Wars. I just wasn't exposed to it, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm from Calhoun County, Alabama, man.
I know where you're from.
Walker and all that shit. We come on, man. You gotta. I mean, that shit was on cable. That was on. You can get.
I had an antenna, brother.
Where'd you grow up, man?
Fort Payne.
Fort Payne. Let's go.
Rolling down the
back. I'm just saying the guys that are pumping Mannings right now don't really have a good backing.
Wasn't pumping a Manning.
Double agents.
Never wore a Manning jersey, but you put me in a position to have to defend this, man.
Man, I could really turn this show upside down right now, and I'm not going to.
Go ahead, Petty.
Nope.
I got a piece of paper waiting for you.
Not going to do it.
It's called Daniel Petty Get Back.
I'll say this. There's still about 20 people on my high school team that owe me money from a bet I made about the 95 Alabama-Tennessee game when Peyton came to Birmingham. Y'all still owe me, by the way.
Odds are they're not going to pay you by now.
Well, I came to Alabama a Bama fan. Like, Bama was my second team, and then I realized, like, in high school, like, you don't want to let Bama fans know they don't understand second teamdom. But, growing up in Mississippi, Ole Miss had a ceiling. It was like the Independence Bowl, the Liberty Bowl. And if you wanted to watch real football, you watched Florida State, Miami, Oklahoma, Alabama, all that crap. And so, like, my dad, even in Mississippi, I had the Bear Bryant Coke bottle. And then I moved to Tuscaloosa, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. I'm going to see something like Alabama. This is going to be cool. And day one, somebody said, hey, man, you're from Mississippi. Who's your team? I said, I'm an Ole Miss fan. They're like, well, they suck. at 16, the only other thing I could say was, well, so does Alabama. And that was about the time Peyton hit. Bama and Tennessee don't do back and forth. They do 10-year runs. And Bama was on their 10-year run. And I might have bet half the locker room that Peyton was going to kick their ass. And I've had a weird relationship with Alabama. It's gone from love in Mississippi to hate in high school to I got a degree and now I love Alabama again.
You bet that Peyton Manning was going to kick Alabama's ass.
Yeah,
I didn't know this, Petty.
Yeah, Petty, I told you I was about to turn it upside down.
You just lost about 100. You just lost 180 respect points from me, bro.
Dude, you don't realize the emotional roller coaster I've had with the Crimson Tide in my life. But then I went to Alabama and met Bama school people, and I'll tell you what, people who go to Alabama are the best fans on planet Earth.
But the fact that you bet an orange school, especially a Manning, I'll lose respect.
I bet on the first family of football, though.
I'll lose respect for you.
Hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when DeBoer rolls out the alternate uniforms and rolls out there in orange?
In a white helmet.
In a white helmet.
It won't happen.
Never say never.
Tyler, I will never say never, except I'm prepared to go to extreme lengths, and people don't underestimate my resolve. My resolve for not letting Alabama wear white helmets is very, very intimately deep. I won't let it happen.
Very good. Very thorough, very long.
Can I break some news? Can I break some news on your show?
Absolutely.
2025, Alabama will wear white helmets.
Boy, you don't. You're serious? Are you bullshitting
You don't know
me?
that? That's not out. That's not public.
Please clip this. Lou is about to fucking explode on screen live.
Looks like he watched his puppy get run over.
I can tell you when. Tennessee game.
Interesting.
This man, it ain't gonna happen. I promise you that.
I'm just fucking with Lou.
Oh my God, you were making my day.
Yeah, because Petty's been asking for it.
Hey, it's not gonna happen. I think you underestimate my resolve.
For the record, that's totally made up. I was just fucking with
Lou, like, this is like Jay and Silent Bob, the movie, when they had the hit list at the end of it. Lou has just made a hit list, and he's going
to take hot
plane trips to all our houses and be like, "Are you tag name this son of a?"
No, there's not gonna be that. I'm gonna land in your backyard, so I'm there.
When did they wear the white helmets? Like what era?
Well, they did it with Stabler, but the last time they did it was 1983, when Walter Lewis was a quarterback.
I don't remember. I was alive. I don't remember.
Well, the only reason I do is I'm a sucker for these old YouTube will throw up all these old games, and I like them mainly because I like looking at the damn commercials just to see the commercials back in those days. I'm very weird, and the fans, what the fans and crap were wearing, and the announcers. But I was watching the '83 Iron Bowl, and they were showing highlights from the season, and Walter Lewis wore it. That at some point in that season, Alabama wore white.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Okay, so here's the thing. We'll don a white helmet. Okay, we'll don a white helmet. Name the last school that wears a white helmet that won a damn national championship, Petty.
LSU.
They don't know that were wearing white helmets when they won. Not that we're
white helmets. Dad's moving the goalpost.
No. They were a white. No. White helmet. The U don't win shit. Penn State don't win shit. I gave you all these examples of schools that don't ever win and they white helmets, and you want Alabama to join a freaking movement that don't win natties.
So we think helmet color determines wins and losses now?
Hey, Lou, you know why Bama haven't won a natty?
Determine natties?
It's not white helmets. The last time Bama won a national championship, you could go to the concession stand and get a real Bryant-Denny dog.
No,
I mean, if we're gonna go there, I completely agree with you. That's why there's a giant Denny dog in your freaking background.
Right there, baby. Greatest.
But you know what there's not in your background? A freaking white helmet.
Or a Manning.
Or a Manning.
You do have one of those. You got his helmet signed.
Well,
First
you
Family
can't see it.
Football.
Yeah, that's why I put a background up so we ain't got to see that Ole Miss shit.
Woo! Well, hey man, man, this is all Tuscaloosa stuff behind me. I hide all the double agent stuff.
Yeah, because you have to, because you try to make it obvious like you're not a double agent when we all know you're a double agent.
Oh, trust me, I get the fan mail from the ones that don't get it. Like you say, Siskey, there's some fans that really struggle with the concept. They let me know it.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't get it. I struggle with it every morning when I wake up and I look in the mirror of people I want to murder. It's like, I'm going to leave Petty off this list just because of the fact that I like him as a person, even though he supported Hugh Freeze when he got some bullshit bounce off the helmet pass to beat us. And I know he was cheering for that shit. I'm going to still like Petty when I'm done looking at myself in the mirror. But in the back of my head, it's like, Petty, you know.
Hey, does anybody else get the feeling like I got a feeling like in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to get a knock on the door and they're going to like show me this episode back and be like, well, there's signs.
Yes. In fact, sir, I'm pretty sure we'll get an interview on First 48. And, you know, I'm trying to determine right now, you know, will I give him the he was a nice guy speech or, you know.
He's a great dude. I love Lou, man. I mean, look, I guess that person started talking about the First Family Football or Orange, and then what took him really over the top was when they brought up white helmets, and then after that it was my man Lou. My man Lou was gone.
This is the thing, y'all are seeing me in my calm years. You should have met me 10 years ago when I just got out of war. I said, trust me,
Lou. Can I tell you something? I will sleep like a baby tonight, knowing there are people like you defending our country. I can promise you.
Right.
I will. Hey, hashtag America, and they're Clemson fans, but I will.
Call back.
I will sleep better at night. Like I real talk. I'm like, it's my fucking guy right there. Hashtag.
There was a dude when I was in one of the countries, and he had a flag that I didn't like, and he was waving it, and I'm just like, I looked at him.
Let's keep this PG. It was a team flag. Is that correct?
It was a team. No, it
wasn't a country flag. It was a team flag.
No, absolutely not. It was a college football team flag.
Okay, all right.
And he was in my platoon. I didn't hurt him at all, but I did make him burn that flag because I couldn't stand the sight.
What team?
Oh, I think it goes without saying what team.
Tennessee.
Absolutely. It was a big old Vols, little orange and white. It said Vols on there. Like it went up, and I just looked at everybody, and everybody looked at me. I'm like, okay.
So you don't like Morgan Wallen either, I guess, huh? You're not a Morgan Wallen.
No.
Trust me, that dude said some stuff.
No Kenny Chesney.
Kenny Chesney's okay because he ain't really went online and said the N-word.
Big Tennessee fan.
Morgan Wallen did.
Big Tennessee fan.
Right, but he didn't go online blabbing the N-word when he was drunk like Morgan Wallen did.
So okay, different
story.
I got it. I'm
Morgan do that? Is that another reason to hate that dude other than the fact his music sucks?
Well, there's a YouTube video of it. You can go and look it up if you want to.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I already did. I mean, when your music sucks, that's enough for me.
I couldn't name 2 songs, brother. I listen to like Waylon Jennings and shit, man. I don't.
Yeah, my country music, you got to be like in the 2000s at the most. 2000
back into the 70s.
What about Lou? What about Alabama, the band? You know where they're from? Do you know where they're from? Tell them, Van.
Fort Payne, Alabama, sir.
Show is.
I mean,
good fellas too.
I don't have a problem with that.
We can't play music here, can we, Petty?
I don't know. I think in there like a few second rule.
I mean, you gotta love them just for Dixieland Delight, dude. I mean, kind of played out. I
like rock and roll. Yeah, I'm not a rap guy. I'm a soldier. So my shit was hardcore rock and roll, Slipknot, Five Finger Death Punch, stuff like that. I mean, I did listen to old school rap, but it ended in like 2000 with like 50 Cent. I don't listen to none of these mumble rap.
You mean when it was actually good rap?
Yeah, when people were sagging their pants, that's when I listened to rap. Yeah. When they started wearing skinny jeans, I just tuned that shit out. I might have been in the country
when they actually had lyrics. Not all of them are the exact same beat.
What
What were you playing?
Can you hear that?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's not
All I hear is Manning sucks in the background.
It's not coming through the speakers. Greatest
It's
song.
coming through mine. Manning sucks really loud.
My home is hey, you need to.
My home's in Alabama.
My home is in Alabama is what you need to listen to, Lou. That's my anthem.
In fact, I work next door to their fan club.
I'm in the heart of Dixie, and Dixie's in the heart of me.
My home
can't
is
have
in
that song as a
Alabama, no
favorite.
matter where I lay my head.
That's right.
You can't listen. You can't say that's your favorite song, Double Agent.
I claim Alabama more than I do Mississippi.
You just literally said the opposite.
I said I cheer for Ole Miss over Alabama in football. That ain't states. I claim Alabama the state more than I do Mississippi the state.
Okay, but if you claim the state, you claim the football team. That's how that goes. One goes in hands with the other. I will not let you do that. I will not let you separate.
No, you got.
You are not separating church and state in this, Petty.
As someone has lived all over this country, I will say that that's why that's my song is my home's in Alabama, no matter where I lay my head.
That's right.
Alabama the state means more to me than Mississippi the state. I grew up in Alabama. The
football team should.
Well, why can't he pick Auburn or Mississippi State then?
Because he's a smart man.
I don't know.
I just threw up in my mouth a little.
Yeah, you said Mississippi State. If you wouldn't have said Mississippi State, you might have had it.
No, Lou, I'll take that, man. I was here during the Fulmer years, so I didn't like Fulmer at that time. I had the Fat Phil Loves to Squeal shirt and all that. But I'll be honest, sorry, Tyler, I learned a bigger disdain for Auburn than I did Tennessee in my time at Alabama. I can't stand Auburn.
When I was, the whole time I was growing up, it was always Auburn, Alabama. It was never Tennessee. Now, I remember when I was at Alabama, all the OGs, like the older boosters, they were the Tennessee rivalry was probably bigger than them than the Auburn rivalry. But my generation probably younger is Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn for me. Yeah.
You go get the some 60, 70, 80-year-old folks, they may tell you Tennessee.
Well,
there was that discussion. I don't care if I'm telling it now. There was that discussion when I was at Alabama. The SEC was talking about realigning the conferences, East and West. And part of the discussion would be they were going to put Auburn in the East maybe. And it was basically going to do away with the Auburn-Alabama rivalry. And it was going to be Tennessee was going to be the rival. And then I spoke up. I was like, ain't no way in this state you can do that now.
No.
And then, but a lot of the old heads were like, yeah, we'd rather play Tennessee than Auburn, like his rivalry. I was like, what? That didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. It doesn't matter now.
Same in the state of Mississippi. The old white hairs think LSU's a bigger rivalry, while the people my age will tell you Mississippi State. Same thing.
Yeah.
But again, but Lou, I grew up as a man in the state of Alabama. I fell in love with Alabama. I learned to hate Auburn, but my dad brainwashed me. What can I say?
Well, the Auburn, you got to remember too, the Auburn Alabama wasn't even really a rivalry. I mean, it was, but it wasn't a competitive rivalry.
Oh, no,
Pat Dye got there in the 80s.
No, Bama beat them 12 straight years, and then it wasn't until Bear was getting old and falling off that Dye finally got them and started getting a little bit of the talent with Bo and guys like that. And then Bama was trying to find their way a little bit in the 80s, and that's why you're firing Bill Curry, because he's winning 10 games but losing to Auburn. But that's where the rivalry started kicking in, was Pat Dye.
Yeah, because it was like before that. I remember growing up, and my all my family kept talking about it was a Bama punt years, and that was like what 70. That was like 72 around there when Pat Sullivan and those guys were there, and you're like, well, what the hell happened between 72 and 82? It's like. It was a stretch there where it was not competitive. And so in the 80s, so if you're a child of the 80s, that's about when, that's all we know is Auburn, Alabama. But anybody that grew up before that, they didn't really, it wasn't even a game. It was Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I bet it's very similar with Alabama, a lot of the really young Alabama fans and LSU. Like the LSU game wasn't really a rivalry at all until, the around 2000, when Nick got
So
back.
it became the biggest game. Well, that's like Florida, Tennessee. Everybody that was the biggest game of the '90s. But prior to 1990, that game didn't mean shit.
Yeah, hadn't meant anything in a while. You know what I mean?
But for a decade, it was the biggest game in the SEC, and everybody's like, "That's a huge rivalry." And Tennessee fans still see Florida as a rivalry when other people don't even care about that game.
Florida, Tennessee was what Alabama, LSU was in the.
That's the exact same equivalent.
Great comparison.
They were doing that late primetime game slot that on CBS that Alabama got, and now
I don't believe Bama fans.
Alabama Georgia is kind of taking that spot now. If you don't, the last Alabama Georgia is kind of taking over that rivalry spot now.
Because Lou and Van, this is a great question. I don't view LSU as a real rival. It's the biggest game Bama has to play in essence to become the champion. So that was a big game. But did y'all view LSU as a rival?
No, in fact. Yeah, it was Auburn for me because, like, my high school years, Tuberville, Fear of the Thumb, that whole bullshit, Auburn was beating us year after year after year. And so you hated them. You grew up hating them.
They were rubbing it.
And so, it's always been Auburn for me. And I hated Tennessee because of what took place and Fulmer and blah, blah, blah. So, the first family of football, according to Lucian, the Mannings, made me hate Tennessee even more growing up because, Peyton handed it to us year after year after year. So, Auburn and Tennessee for me for sure.
But we know where your hate lies.
Now, listen. You have it's still going to be Tennessee. Just till the day I die, just because
I get that.
The entitlement factor plays a bunch into that. Everybody else in the SEC knows what a fight's about. People in Tennessee don't know what it's like to fight for something. Being born with a silver spoon in your mouth,
man.
Hold on. I'm gonna bring this home. I promise you. I'm gonna bring this home.
Davy Crockett.
So you have the Tennessee fans and everybody from Tennessee. Yeah, you have the pedigree, you have all that other shit, the royalty, but that's not greatness to me. Greatness is when something comes out of nowhere and it's unexplained and it doesn't have an origin. That's why none of the Mannings were ever impressive to me, because you came from that. You came from good stock, so it's not impressive. And honestly, you were put in a system to succeed. Everybody is going to give you the best opportunities to succeed, whereas everybody else wasn't given your opportunity like that to succeed. So the fact that they're the first family of football, I don't really think that's like saying like the like you're fucking English royalty. Like that means you're soft. You were just given it. You didn't earn it. You didn't earn it at all. You weren't out here.
Did Tom Brady earn it, or was he giving it?
I don't know. That dude was unheard of when he came out of college, and he somehow became one of the greatest players of all time. So yeah,
I'm not gonna say unheard of. I remember playing against Michigan when he was their quarterback.
But he wasn't Manning heard of. He didn't have a pedigree of freaking relatives to go through that were awesome in the NFL.
Nobody knew that was about to be. Nobody knew Brady was about to be what he was when he was in Michigan.
But that's my point. Greatness doesn't come from where it's expected. Greatness comes from where it's not expected, unexpected places. It doesn't come from pedigree. It doesn't come from lineage. It comes from random motherfuckers doing great shit. Manning doing great shit is not impressive to me. It's just what you should do because you're a fucking Manning.
And what happens if Art wins the Heisman Trophy this year?
He won't win the Heisman Trophy.
What if he does?
Siskey? He won't. And you know why? Because
what if he throws for 550 yards and wins the Heisman Trophy after he plays Alabama in the SEC championship game?
Oh boy. That won't happen.
Oh boy.
Hey, if that happens, can I come back on the show that Monday?
Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah.
I will more. Hey, I am not above admitting when I'm wrong. Just good luck finding it. because it ain't gonna happen.
I think he is a. I will tell you my honest opinion about him. I got to go, but I got to.
I'm about to say we have fully turned this into a Braveheart episode now.
I will tell you my honest opinion. That's why we joke about the my man old school. He's probably in here at some point in time.
Old school. That's the one.
Yeah. So we call it the Pete Sanchez show because everybody was like, "Why didn't Arch Manning playing over Quinn Ewers and all that stuff?" And my point to Arch Manning was, I think he's talented. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a good player. I think everybody's blowing him up because if his name was Pete Sanchez, we wouldn't be talking about him.
Right.
And that's all I'm saying.
He would be just another backup quarterback.
That's all I'm saying.
But I do think he is talented. I think he's going to have. I think he's going to be a really good player. He is talented, and I think Lucius should give him a little. Lucius should give him a chance, man. Manning's first family of football. I think we should get you a shirt.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll wear the shirt if you bring someone that can put me down.
I just want to know
down. What are you talking about? Put you down. Luke, you know I know some dudes, right?
Bama came in second for
That's
Art.
Fun. Siskey, I don't think we've gone into extensive with how good I'm trained.
Bama came in second for Arch. I would love to say. I almost now wish Arch would have signed with Alabama.
I would have. It would have made. There's nothing.
No, we took Julian Sain over that.
Only thing that would make this show better is if we were talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide going to Doak Campbell with new starting quarterback Arch Manning. That would have been. Wow.
That would have been a legendary show. I'd have said "fuck the Manning family" like the first thing I said on the show. Yeah. I don't understand. If I was alone and feeling this, but most of our chat feels how I do, so I don't understand why y'all think I'm wrong. Everybody in our chat.
I didn't say you're wrong. Yeah. I didn't say you're wrong. You feel like you want to feel. That's entertainment. I love it.
Damn right, Siskey. God bless you, man. I can't believe we got you for this. I dude, at the hour and a half, I was trying to like put.
Oh, you're good, man.
Shit, we've been on 3 hours.
I know you've been talking about the first time in football for 45 minutes.
I was trying to end this at Back to the Future. We've now gone into Braveheart. So yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
We get Lord of the Rings. Yeah, we're about the extended version Lord of the Rings at this point. Whole damn Star Wars trilogy. Guys, appreciate
band's never seen.
Game week, where can we let's do some following, because guys, there were actually some people, Siskey, before you get out of here, there was, and I tried to tell them, there were a few people in the chat that, God, I didn't know there was anybody out there in our stratosphere that didn't know where to find you. Let's go around. How can we find you? Tell them where they can find you on other shows.
McCready and Siskey on whatever.
MPW Digital.
MPW Digital. Yes, MPW Digital, the show is on MPW Digital Network. Thank you, Petty.
You're welcome.
And then McCready and Siskey everywhere else.
Yeah, there you go. And follow him on TikTok. He hops up on that. Van, Lou, follows.
Man, catch me at Walmart or at work, dog. I ain't. I mean, you can't. I ain't no celebrity. Come on. I mean, I got a Facebook. Y'all want to roll through? Holler at me. But other than that, we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, Lou. You
can find Lou at hanging out with the Mannings in Columbus, Ohio this weekend.
Listen, you're not going to be able to find me for the next 2 weeks because I'm off work. I'm off work tomorrow for the next 2.5 weeks.
Let's go.
So it might be hard to see where I end up popping up. But I do have some addresses.
Hey, I heard Arch is coming to your hometown.
He is, and he hates Ohio State. This is great.
And see, that's the thing. Okay, before we end the show, I want this known. I hate with all of my fiber everything about Ohio State. I hate the Block O. I hate the nuts that hang around their necks because that's just weird as shit. I hate the fact that they named their football team after a woman being Scarlet. It's soft. I hate the fact that they are the Buckeyes and they play in a horseshoe when they ain't got a team that has anything to do with a horseshoe.
Mm.
But being that as it may, they still have a saying. And me, being the Dragon Ball Z guru I am, I'm going with Ohio State.
Wow.
Because, and I want everybody to know this in the SEC, I hate the Manning family that fucking much to choose Ohio State to beat them just because they have a Manning. And I do not believe in that dude at all. That family at all. They're not the first family of shit in any Texas, Ole Miss, Colts, Giants fan. I'll drop my address and we can talk about it. I live out in the country. Come see me.
That's right.
There we go.
But other than that,
can I have one request for the next episode, please? Yes. In the next episode, can we cover all the teams that Lou likes?
Alabama, the Raiders.
Oh, that's one.
New Mexico State.
Okay.
Because they beat Auburn.
You're damn right. That's my second team.
What about Diego Pavia? That's a good. There's your question for you. You're a Diego fan because he beat Auburn 3 times.
I thought you had to go, Tyler. You just poking that bear.
Just saying.
No, I don't like him either.
Fair question. It is a fair question.
It's a fair question. I don't like him.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Aren't you a Yankees fan, Lucian?
I am.
Talk about entitled.
Hey, y'all got any numbers? Y'all got any numbers left to retire?
Yeah. 96. 49.
Is that Don Mattingly?
61.
Bro, I've got a commemorative plate.
That's 84 Donruss Don Mattingly right there.
Yes,
I got the 84 Donruss Don Mattingly. That was
also
no, we don't have any numbers. What are you saying? Like, what are we saying here?
It's like you get called up for the Yankees, you could be the best player ever. You got to wear like 67.
Why Judge is 99.
Well, and that's called pedigree and history. You don't get called up in our organization and be called the greatest thing in football like the Mannings.
Yeah, you don't get called up in your organization because y'all don't have anybody in your organization call up. You just buy them.
You buy them.
Well, you talking about the Raiders? We don't have an organization.
We're talking about the Yankees, man.
Oh, well, yeah.
Mickey Mantle.
Oh, good. How about that?
Is that real?
Mickey, yeah. When I was
when you go to see him, Lucian.
Yeah, Lou, when you go see Petty in the morning, you're in his front yard, make sure you grab that picture and that ball on the way out.
Yes, sir. And then split it with your boys here.
4 years old, Jackson, Mississippi. Mickey was signing at the Metro Center Mall. I stood
dude, that's how white trash I am. I've got a Don Mattingly commemorative plate in the next room, and I'm not even a Yankees fan.
And I bet you both those two were saying, fuck the Manning family.
And with that, it is game week. We have killed it. We've killed the Mannings. But more importantly, I think we've let you know that the Tide's about to roll into Tallahassee and may do some killing on some criminals down there. Because like I said on the earlier show, Burt Reynolds ain't walking through that door. Casey Weldon ain't walking through that door. Danny Cannell, Charlie Ward,
Danny Cannell,
not walking through that door. Warwick Dunn,
Deion Sanders,
Edgar Bennett, not walking through that door. Peter
Jameson Winston,
Terrell Buckley. Chris Winkie is like 138 and on a walker. You know he ain't coming through that door.
Hey, I'm kind of mad right now because I'm letting you go through this right here, and you're not mentioning my favorite player of all time, by the way.
Am I missing?
You're
Peter
missing
Ward, Anquan Bolden.
Peter Ward.
All right, Peter Ward. I hadn't got to the receivers. I had the receivers too. Had all them in there. All right, guys. Been a great night. Is there anything? Give them your roll tides. Get at it, Lou. I
do. Okay. Before we do get out, I want everybody to know that Saturday at 8:30 in the morning, we're going to be kicking off the Saturday AM Scramble. Everybody's asking questions about the schools I have in the background of this graphic. There will be podcasters from some of these schools joining the panel to talk about what's going on with their respective schools for 15, 20 minutes. And it's going to be a bar type of environment. We're going to just get together and talk football and basically let everybody know what's going on in the college football world. Go ahead and tune in. It'll be at 8:30 a.m. Central, and it will run till about 10:30, 11. however many podcasters we get in. So be sure you guys tune into this. It's going to be a good show.
Good stuff. All right, that's it, man. We will see y'all next week, and we'll have some football to talk about. So see y'all then. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll dang Tide.